The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people! May the 4th be with you! Yeah! Welcome to the Pat McAfee Show here on May 4th, 2022. I have never seen a Star Wars in my life, but I will always celebrate other people's happiness. And the chosen one, my friends in Star Wars, might be
Anakin Skywalker.
But in the NHL, it's fucking Louis Domingue! Yeah! The 4th was with all this guy last night.
Yeah.
Hockey's happening, football's happening, the NBA's happening. Today we have a massive sports show for you. We have Dan Orlovsky, the quarterback guru from ESPN, joining us in about 17 minutes. AJ Hawk will join us for the second hour. And in the third hour, it will be the return of that rap sheet. Ian Rappaport after his draft. We will have to ask him about what he said about Matt Corral.
Yeah.
We're going to have to put
the saber to his throat.
Hell yeah. Gotta be careful with that thing, dude.
Cut right through that microphone.
It would.
What are you fucking talking about? What are you fucking talking about? Where's the sound coming?
From the saber.
Hey, Ian, you want to run your...
Block the shot.
Run your fucking mouth about a guy? Oh. That's Louis Domingue, bro.
Yeah.
After eating fucking spicy chicken and broccoli in the middle of a second overtime intermission, not knowing he was going to go back into the goddamn game because the starting goalie who got them all the way through 2 overtimes fucking just gets hurt out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Louis Domingue comes in and saves the game, and we're not talking about Louis Domingue right now. In the Pens winning Lord Stanley's Cup. We're talking about Ian Rappaport, his coverage during the draft. We will fucking put his feet. To the fire. If not us, then who?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
I had no idea. Zito gave that thing to me about literally 56 seconds before the show started.
Probably ran
You got a pretty good grasp
ran
on it,
in
I think.
3K at
You are the
least on
chosen
that
one.
thing.
That thing is very real, very heavy. I mean, Zito.
It's movie grade.
Zito just did that so that he could write it off on his taxes because it's part of work.
Thank you
Smart.
so much.
That's why he has all those swords and axe books.
Oh, yeah.
Once you
From-
see how it looked, though, you are going to
Yeah.
be very pumped because it was sweet.
Pretty worth it.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Very, very
rough.
worth it. Yeah.
You might be the next Star Wars movie.
Well, no, listen, I should not be in that, okay, because I don't know anything about it. For instance, like I got in the WWE, big fan, know the WWE, I'm okay going in there. I don't think people with zero knowledge of like empires should be dropped into empires. I think you should have to understand and respect it, unless you are a massive thespian. Which I am not, okay? I am not one of those. I cannot do that. So with all due respect to the Star Wars community, I've never seen a Star Wars, but I have respect for the community.
Sure. Absolutely.
Fucking love Star Wars. The Star Wars community fucking loves it. How many movies are we into now?
9.
In every one, there's lines that go from one movie theater to a town next to the next movie theater every single time. This last one, though, was a sack of shit.
Yeah, you're right.
A lot of people saying that.
I can't believe, that studio, they just get all willy-nilly with their own editing, which takes me back to what I just said. I should not be in Star Wars because I don't know Star Wars. The people, the studio that decided to cut out all of the director's vision.
How could you?
Fucking Disney.
They're the ones, they've never seen the movie before either. They try to make it into their own. It ain't, it's Star Wars, baby. May the 4th be with everybody. Also, your phone calls on a 500 phone line, 1-833-4-McAfee. Let's go to the toxic table. Ty Schmidt, the international games have been announced for the NFL. We go to England, and then there's a game in Munich, and then there's a game in Mexico City. I mean, this is going to be a very active season with international games. And remember, Jim Irsay was talking on here about expansion.
Yeah.
Okay, he actually he wasn't talking directly about the NFL's expansion. He was talking about human expansion to the moon and to Mars. The moon being 208,000 miles away, and Mars being
Like 208 million.
miles away. So there's going to have to be steady growth for expansion. He was making that comparison about the NFL growing worldwide and hopefully creating more money because he and the other owners, I would assume, view it, we're the biggest league in the world, and we gross $22 billion a year. Hey, good work.
Pretty good.
Not bad.
Good work. Amazon grosses $400 billion. There is still money out there to be had.
Wake up.
That's what Jim Irsay said. Not enough money. That's what he actually said on his throne. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible.
One of the coolest things I've ever heard. And by the way, he's running a business, so his success is what he is looking for. So, I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do. But these games getting in to Europe and going to England and going to Germany now for the first time, it's only a matter of time before our game becomes the world's game. And I understand that soccer's had a nice little run here, but once you get introduced to this game, especially if they can make it affordable with pads and easily accessible. I mean, Bjorn Werner had to, I think, do high school in America to even have a chance to potentially get there. As the game grows and the world, learns more and more about our sport, I think it's only a good thing, and expansion is going to happen. And now we have to think about which games are we going to one of these games, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe.
Why not?
Maybe.
This is good news for the league, though. I like this, especially going to Germany. Those fans, especially with how many military folks are there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of America over there, and that's not a shot at anything, but I feel like they do enjoy the American culture a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, usually when these are announced, I don't really care because the Packers had been the only team, I think, who hasn't played overseas yet. So they get the draw with the Giants this year, which I'm pretty juiced up about. I assume that's going to be an incredible experience. But to your point, too, about it kind of growing over there, I don't know about people actually playing it, but in terms of just like a fan reach, like they got Brady, Rodgers, and Russell Wilson all playing in the international games this year. Like, I feel like that's a pretty good way to do it. You put like some of the faces of the league, the quarterbacks. Usually it's, the Dolphins and the Jags are playing over there again. But yeah, I mean,
Jeez,
whatever you want to call it. But you get, three of the marquee quarterbacks in the league to go over there. Like, that's a pretty easy way, I think, to kind of slowly watch the sprawl continue.
Something that needs to be noted about this conversation, though, is it is terribly, annoying as a player to do it.
I can't imagine.
Every player.
Can't imagine.
Inconvenient.
We lost. Yeah, there it is. Inconvenient. Everything, basically. But you get to experience the world a little bit, so it's an eye-opener. I mean, a lot of guys maybe have never been to England or ever would go to England, so getting to experience another culture is obviously a great thing for anybody to do, and I would recommend for everybody, by the way. I think that is something that more people should do, is travel and meet people and, kind of learn about why other people are the way they are. I think it's awesome, and I think that is a benefit to these NFL games and the players getting to do that. But with that being said, I mean, we lost it at Jags, and there wasn't
Sorry, I mean, that sucks.
that Jags team made it to the AFC Championship.
You're goddamn right. And that added to the list of teams that were destroyed by New England. Yeah.
They kind of killed themselves, though.
Sure.
A little bit.
Feels like they knelt
Yeah,
down
they
and shot themselves in the
Yeah, it was
foot.
24-10. They should have won, but what are you going to do?
Anyways, it was just in the middle of the season. It's very awkward. Yeah, everybody's schedules just get completely fucked. Sleep schedule gets changed. It's not very convenient at all or conducive to a player's operation and daily routine to be at their absolute best. But there's obvious upside in growing the game for everybody whenever it comes to finances, the game as a whole, techniques, everything. So I love it. I'm a big fan of it now as a fan. I did not enjoy it necessarily as a player. I thought it was funny to go over there and experience just like American sports, which is how it was treated.
Yeah.
There's people in, saw a lot of Kobe Bryant jerseys, saw a couple baseball jerseys.
Really?
Yeah, saw a lot of other NFL teams' jerseys. Browns jerseys were over there. I remember, and I think the reason why I remember that is because I was just like, the Browns have a fan in England.
What the hell?
That was back whenever the Browns was
The Browns.
Yeah, huge Jack City.
I'm like, God damn, how do they have a fan over here in England? And I think there was a couple of them, numerous of them. No offense to the Browns, I know a legendary organization. Just wouldn't think that if a random fan a few thousand miles away would just say, you know what, give me that one.
Yeah.
Give me that. I don't think that would be the case. That's why you see a lot of, there's a lot of Cowboys stuff, a lot of Patriots stuff over there.
Really?
Yeah, because you're winning. Yankees, a lot of the stuff on primetime television where the world sees you, you naturally grow a fan base because they're like your introduction to the sport. But they have a great fans.
Yeah.
Loud. The place was loud. And they have good personalities too. They'll laugh. The fans will laugh at the shit that isn't supposed to happen. Where like American fans will maybe get like pissed off about stuff.
Yeah.
Like their fans, I feel like they enjoy it's a part of it all. I feel personally, the hooligans are the best fans I think in the world. the most active, the most passionate, the most loyal. And although they aren't the same as they are in the Champions League,
Right.
there is still a good buzz at all times during the game, as opposed to the potential lull that might come from an American fan base during football games.
Yeah, and those places are huge, right? Like I assume Wembley and some of those stadiums can probably fit a lot more people, but I don't know if you remember last year, speaking on the fans, when it was Dolphins, Jags, I believe a fan rushed the field, and even the referees were like, oh, this is actually hilarious, and just like escorted him off. There was no tackle. It was right before kickoff. The guy
just
was like
cheering for
laughing.
him.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. You get one time to do this a year. I guess 2, 3 now. But
Hey, listen, I would like to let every hooligan know that just charging and running onto things, not always welcomed.
No.
So you go to a Chappelle show, for instance, in Hollywood. Like, I know you want to be a part of the show maybe and want to have a good time. Don't go up there.
No.
Because you're going to end up with your fucking arm backwards, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing was sitting completely backwards on a stretcher. Guy charges Dave Chappelle last night at a show at the Hollywood Bowl, I guess. He was either not happy by a joke, winning a bet. He lost, by the way. I don't know if there's a number of money-wise on the other end. But tried to spear Chappelle, and it appeared as if everybody else that was at that show beat the fuck out of this guy.
Oh, yeah.
The photos afterwards are out of a cartoon.
Yeah.
They're out of the dude's arm is literally just completely bent backwards, and he's sitting there. And these are the only types of situations, by the way, where Chappelle and everybody that beat the fuck out of this dude are the baby faces. It's like, yeah, fucking do it again.
get him.
Get him again. His fucking other arm should have looked like that. There's not that many opportunities in the world. Guy robs old lady on the street in public. You tackle person, beat the shit out of
that
him.
guy.
It's like, hey, all right, there's a hero. One of these situations, one of the only ones in public where if you win the fight that is taking place, you are heralded. And you know what? I thought Tom Segura was, being a bit dramatic.
Sure.
And all the comedians were being a bit dramatic, I thought, personally. I'm like, hey, relax, all right? Because comedians were saying, well, if somebody sees Will Smith do it to a joke, other people are going to think that they can do things to a joke. And I honestly thought that the comedians were being a little bit like, come on, that's not going to, I thought they were just like using it as an opportunity to potentially go. But that was so ignorant of me because they're in there with people and what people say and how hostile some people might potentially get from some jokes. And if somebody has seen Will Smith do it, that might make them think like, yeah, I'm not the first person to ever do this. So I don't know if this was because of a joke, if it was probably pre-planned, we'd assume, if something was said to happen. But it makes sense why the comedians were coming out being like, hey, this cannot fucking happen. Okay? Like the people cannot start attacking people for things that we are just trying to make people laugh about. And now granted, you can feel how you want to feel about freedom of speech and freedom of consequence that comes with it and everything like that. But the line between humor and hate disappeared, I don't know, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Now everything just falls either into I think it's hilarious, or, oh, I fucking hate that person, even though the person that's saying it is just trying to make everybody feel in the hilarious fashion. I don't know. It's a weird time right now. It's a very weird time.
If that person went there to go see a comedy show and a joke enraged them so much that they went on stage that happened, like what? I don't know what they're thinking going to a comedy show. Or do you think they went to the comedy show knowing that they were going to go on stage at some point?
Yeah, that's what I think this was the
premeditated.
first time he says something about bomb, I'm going to come out and bomb.
Get him.
Man, wait till you see. I'm going to fucking spear him. Hey, he's going to be holding that mic. He might even hit his leg like he does. He does his laughing where he hits his leg. Maybe he'll have a cigarette. I'm going to spear him. That fucking cigarette's going to fly out. The microphone sound's going to be perfect. Just it's going to sound like wrestling. It's going to sound like wrestling. And then he's going to be on the ground. Then I'm going to get up and I'm going to run out. And everybody's, yeah, you're going to be a hero. Yeah. You're a fucking hero. Everybody's going to see you do that. Yeah, that's how it ended.
Did you see Dave shed the tackle too?
Yeah. Good base.
Yep.
Hey, he lives in Ohio.
He knows.
Listen,
And plus,
lives in
Dave
Ohio.
is yoked right now too. From what he used to look like before, like why would you even try to attempt that?
And listen, you don't have to find his jokes funny. I'm not saying you have to find everything funny. And there is some things that have been joked about for a long time that are disrespectful. Like that is what jokes like. That's where some jokes and some people's humor lie in that. Not everybody has to. You don't have to find things funny, but I think we should stop just automatically. If the intent is to hurt somebody, I think we fucking should punish those people. If the intent is to make people laugh, though, I don't know if if we should seek out those opportunities than to get mad at somebody for doing such a thing. To your point, Toe Dix. Yeah, it's an interesting world.
I would imagine that this would dispel a lot of people from trying to do this type of stuff, though, because like the Will Smith thing was kind of just like shocking, and it's like, oh well, but there was no
Why anyone an Oscar after?
Exactly. So there's no fallout from that. Like this is say like, hey, if you get physical with one of these guys, like there is consequence. These guys, these security guys, are probably just chomping at the bit for something like this. Like they're going to beat the shit out of you if there's any type of like physical confrontation or anything like that. So you'd think people would see this and be like, oh, okay, well, if I do this, I think both of his hands got broken and then they both got dislocated. Like
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You're
Like
gonna get crushed.
you're going to get
Oh,
the
my
shit
God.
beat out of you. So, you'd think that people would see this and be like, okay, maybe we should.
I think Chappelle did, and I didn't see, there was videos from every angle. I didn't get to catch up on all of them, but there was a lot of things being said about what people heard. And did he shout out Jamie Foxx?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did Jamie Foxx, because he's Mike
yeah.
Tyson, right?
Yeah,
He's making a
he's-
Tyson
yeah.
movie
Oh,
right
yes.
now. Did Jamie Foxx catch that fucking guy?
1-2.
And then Jamie Foxx is ripped, so shredded.
Yeah.
The guy tried to punch Jamie Foxx, fucking dislocated his hand. I mean, is what happened?
quick.
He
too.
shouted out Jamie Foxx, but he didn't say like for what. So I don't know if he was one to tag him. He's like, shout out Fox. And then I believe Chris Rock came on stage and was like, was that Will Smith?
Oh, good. Hey, so that's the first time,
Yeah,
right?
here we go.
That's the first time we've heard
Yeah.
a Chris Rock joke about the whole situation. Because remember, there for a little bit, he was still trying to digest the entire thing, which I think meant, let me figure out how I'm going to go about.
Systematically ripping this guy apart.
Yeah, do I do the entire day?
Right.
Like, do I do the entire day? What is the lead up to the entire thing? Like, I think that's what Chris Rock was doing. But also, I mean, a lot of people saw that happen. So
Yeah.
Chris Rock probably might have felt a certain type of way too.
Yeah.
But anyways, the European football fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, they are so active.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's right.
that's why we're so excited about all these games. The game in Mexico City happening. Those balls. Najee Harris was down there, made a draft announcement from Mexico City,
He had
Mexico.
a dope fit on too.
He had a poncho on.
Yeah.
Right.
Believe so.
I don't ever want to get that wrong and make people like attack me. Like, this fucking
Poncho
dumb.
Karma confused me for a little bit, but I believe it's Poncho.
I don't want to listen. I don't want to sound like I'm so like too super cultured, but I do believe there's a lot of Mexican people that listen to this show
Nice.
and watch this show. From what I've been told from like some of the most famous Mexican people.
Let's go.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Oh,
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that was one of the cool things. So I don't want to get it wrong, but I think he was in a poncho.
Poncho. Yeah.
Dude, he was in a poncho. He said, gracias, Mexico. He said, aquí estamos, mi amigo. He should have said that. He did not say that. It was very fascinating because there was a little bit of a delay. He did it from there. There was another international. There was a German announcement, I believe, for the maybe the Rams. So you could see the NFL now with the draft. They had international announcements. They're also they're trying, I think. Yeah, he looked sick. He looked awesome. By the way, most active fan base during the draft announcement, I'll say, was in Mexico City.
Really?
Yeah. Other places were very quiet, and it was kind of delayed, and then they celebrated afterwards. It was like it was an interesting kind of back and forth.
Was it the Chiefs fan when they were in Germany? The Chiefs announcement, was that in Germany?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and
They were
doing this,
Yeah.
but then they stopped because there was the delay. They didn't know when they were on and when they weren't on. That's like the people are doing their thing, and they're looking at the Jumbotron, and then they get put on the camera, and then they change everything they're doing.
Right.
And then it's like, well, that's not why you were put on the camera.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what happened with the chant over there.
Yeah.
I like for the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta go. We gotta go to one of these. I'm trying to set up a trip to one of these games. By the way,
Have to do it.
like actually in the process making calls. As soon as we found out the dates, this was something we're doing. We have to do a live show from over there. Stream it, I assume, right here on YouTube from a theater or something like that.
They got
be
the
awesome.
markets over there too now. Which teams are being shown where?
Well, that's the thing about these analytics. On all the platforms we're on. Pretty good European following.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Hey, we appreciate you guys watching over there. Hope the NFL brings more games over. But I feel like that's going to be a celebration of football. That's kind of what it was when we were over there. There was a parade. They shut down like a bunch of streets. They said 750,000 people were at a festival that I got a chance to speak at. From the stage looking out, I'm not sure I seen it.
Okay.
750,000. Might have been 4 million.
Yeah.
Might have been 150,000.
Sure.
But I came later. It wasn't in the
Right.
entire day.
Rest
the
assured, they
prime.
were there.
But they turn into full NFL celebrations. I'm surprised they don't do more of that, like show the night before. they're probably going to be all booked out, right? Is that something the NFL already does? No.
No, because when you were over there, it's just that thing during the day, right? The day before.
Yeah, but everybody's in town that are NFL fans, basically.
Yeah.
That feels like the right thing to do. We should do that.
Make it like a Super Bowl week almost. And have all those different.
Yeah, they have like
types
events and like
yeah,
they should. I think they do. I think they have like convention centers with like shops and
full of stuff.
I would imagine they have to, right? Because that's a big part of growing the game. You can't expect the just game on Sunday on its own to, like people are going to show up to that, obviously. But if you really do want to like get people embedded in this stuff, you have to have.
I think they have ex-legends go over too, but it's always with the teams that are playing. I think.
Well, now that they have specific markets for each team, they'll probably do that too. Like Tampa is a German team.
But I don't think like it has to be from the teams that are playing though. Like if I'm running the NFL, and I'm not, but if I'm running the NFL, I go to one of those games and I see every single team's jersey represented in the stands. And I guess people travel in from every basic country that's surrounding the area for the weekend. They should just have like NFL legends go over there. Like retired players should just be over there doing stuff that entire week, basically. I know they do camps in the off season. Like Andrew Luck, I think, went over there and did a football camp. Alvin Kamara did that. But those weeks of games over there, like they should be building that up huge. I think
Jerry Rice should be making rice roni and tailgating with the fans, like leading up to the games.
He should be tailgating.
Yeah,
because he is the goat of tailgating.
Marshawn pouring tequila shots, maybe.
Yes.
Walking around.
In a pub. They had a bunch of pubs. People were just kind of rolling in and out of it. It almost felt like Bourbon Street when we were over there. It was nice, dude. That's awesome. I'm happy it's growing. Joining us now is a man who might be over there.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
True. Might be over there. I think he won. Yeah, he might. I think he won maybe a game last year. I'm not 100% sure. Guy was quarterback in the NFL for a long time. A lot of different places.
That's right.
I seen him win a couple games and almost changes the future of an entire program.
Yeah.
This guy went to UConn, absolute stud.
Yeah,
absolutely lit it up. But now he is the authority on quarterback conversation. From ESPN, Dan Orlovsky.
Hey! What's up, stud?
What's up, dude?
Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. You sent me a text.
How old are you? 30? I'm going to take a guess here.
Okay.
I'm 38, so 32?
Wow, thank you so much. That's the first time ever in my life, literally in my entire life, that anybody has ever guessed that I'm younger. That's not a compliment to me. 35. 35. Halfway to 70.
Here we go.
Halfway to 70. I look like I was like 20 whenever I was like 14, 15. You know what I mean? It's just been one of those things because my face is so terrible. But Dan, don't worry about it. What's the song? Is that your golf club?
This hat is Stream Song. It's a golf resort in Florida. I don't know. I'm not a member.
Oh,
damn.
Really? You got a locker there? You don't have a locker there. They wouldn't let you have a locker there. They said, get the fuck out of here.
It's a public golf course.
Oh, okay.
At a resort?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're rocking a public. This place must be awesome.
Yeah,
local muni.
Are you golf?
You've never heard of Stream Song? You should go. Like it's a good fun golf time.
Yeah, they got a sweet. I mean, that song thing with the
hat.
apostrophe is awesome. That's good branding.
Thank you.
Song.
It's a good time.
How's your
Easy
game?
to get to in the winter time for an East Coaster or Midwesterner. It's an easy fly down to Tampa, hour drive, 3 different golf courses. It's a good spot.
How's the golf game? Pretty good? You feel pretty good about your swing right now?
It's fine. I'm never going to be really good at golf. I was never going to be really good at golf. I don't have the time to get like really as good at golf as I want with my kids. So it is what it is.
So
it's fine.
you stink at golf? Do you get dunked on by everybody that you play golf with? Like you sound.
No,
like
I'm a 7 handicap. I can play.
Okay. All right.
Oh, man.
Okay. So that's pretty. Yeah. You stink. I stink, man. I'm terrible. I'm so bad at golf. I got
still
7.
playable,
It's kind of Brad Pitt thing going on where he always eats every time he's on with us.
Yeah, it says like Ocean's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
What? 8?
Huh?
It's lunchtime.
Well, we appreciate you spending lunch with us. Let's talk about it. Your taste buds are fucking like notoriously terrible now at this point. You know that? Like I saw yesterday, something went viral on Laura Rutledge's TikTok because you just eat a bucket of plain chicken every day. You're not the only one that does that, but AJ Hawk does that. We do ask him about it every single day. But has this been your life? Like you just have always eaten terribly? And do you kind of look back on any of your younger times and go, maybe I should have asked for seasoning? Like something like that?
Like I don't I eat like this a lot ever since my kids were born. My wife you've seen my wife, she's 5'2", 105 pounds, right? So she was she was a petite woman before kids, and then she went to 5'2", 155 pounds, which was a total new world for her. And she was like, yo, this baby weight is gone. So she started to change the way she eated a bunch. And so I just kind of rallied with her because that's what good teammates do, Pat. And,
Hell yeah.
You know, I don't really care for food that much. You know, like I like to have a good dinner. I do. But breakfast and lunch are so basic to me. Like it's not that big a deal, you know?
Yeah, brunch is one of the greatest things, which is both of those things you just said combined. But I do envy the fact that you have that discipline and ability. I'm bouncing between a couple diets right now. You know, for WrestleMania, I was on a diet strict. Hey, 5-6 weeks strict. I saw changes. Had more energy, felt better, looked better.
Great.
Thank you. Everything felt good. And then I know all of those things, and then all of a sudden I get home and I see a cookie cake made of.
Why do you do that? If you know, like, if you feel better, if you think better, if you feel like look better, why do you go backwards?
Because that's what you fit freaks don't understand. Like that cookie, you put that thing in the microwave, then you get a little bit of milk out, and then you go ahead and you get the proper. I mean, that is a moment. That is a time. That is a happiness.
That 90 seconds is way better than like the morning wake up and walking up and down the stairs feeling better. That's better to you?
Well, I live on one floor now, you know, so I don't even have to
worry about stairs.
I kind of got rid of
What
that.
an obnoxious comment.
Yeah. I kind of got rid of any exercise before leaving the house. For this reason, maybe. Anyways, let's move on. You look great, Dan. You look great.
I know it, Dan.
And listen, you are who you are. It made you the person you are today, and we all enjoy the hell out of when you're speaking on television. So keep doing whatever you're doing. Are you still part of the Peloton cult?
I do Peloton mainly in like the winter months because I can't get outside to like work out. So it's I still love it, absolutely. But I don't do it as much as the weather starts to turn and get better because I like to get outside.
Stand up, no. Right,
Yep.
I've never done
Out of the saddle.
Yeah, everything we go, you get after it, huh? You're posting your records and stuff like that. I think you even.
I just like to put it out there, challenge people. You know,
always competing.
Hell yeah.
Always competing, dude. What's the deal? What are you talking about now in the NFL world? Are you talking about your grades from the draft? Like, oh, this team got an A. This team got a B.
Sure.
Look at this team with a C. Oh, this is a D. I didn't like this team, what they did. We have no idea right now. We have no clue, but this team, D minus, actually. This team, I don't even have a one-letter option. The only thing I can give them, a WTF plus.
Whoa.
A what the fudge plus.
Jeez.
So is that worse than an F? Is that above an F? Where's a D lie in this entire
tie
thing?
there.
Yeah, Ty's here. Oh, yeah.
It's Ty there.
Oh, yeah, bud. Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Ty, when I saw you guys comment about that the other day, and this is not to be mean, I went on Twitter because I was going to tag you. I can't find your Twitter handle.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, it's just my
He's
name.
doing
Got
this
you
thing.
blocked.
Yeah.
Is it at TYSCHMIDT?
This is what
just
Dan's
MIT.
doing. This is what
D.
Dan's doing right now.
No,
Just
dude.
MIT. That's fine. I mean, I
He's
didn't tag
fucking
him.
easily findable.
Yeah.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yes, he is. What were you going to say to him?
He's not.
What were you going to say to him?
I was just going to be like, I don't know, make some stupid joke about the Packers or something.
That's tough. That's tough to come back from, Ty.
Is he mad that the Lions are gaining ground on the Packers?
Ty, good luck, dude. You're fucking in a hole, dude.
Dan, don't be an absolute moron, okay? I know what you're doing. We all know what you're doing. The Lions are going to, if everything goes perfectly, they're going to win maybe 6 games this year.
What do you think, Dan? You're fucking donning out, dude. Ty did a one-hitter quitter on you right there.
Yeah, see ya.
Everything you were saying. Why are you saying the things you're saying, though? Why are the...
That's how I feel, man. I always say things of how I feel. All right, here's my stance on the Packers, and that's why
what the
I did
fudge?
that grade. Yes, the Packers got better. Like, those 2 kids are good college football players. They're probably going to be good NFL players, all that stuff.
Let's go, boys.
But that's not where they're lacking when it comes to can they get to the Super Bowl or not. They had a top 10 defense last year. They lost to the 49ers and they gave up 13 points. So I can respect Gutekunst, their general manager, for like not reaching at 22 and 28 and him standing pat with what he believes. But there's no flipping way that anybody that knows the NFL world can sit here and tell me that they believe that the Packers offense is even remotely close to what it has been.
So you think they should have traded and moved up?
Disrespectful.
You think they should have traded and moved up? Is that what you think they should have done? They traded and moved up?
Absolutely. Dude, it's disrespectful to Davante Adams. It's disrespectful to be like, nah, the Packers are just going to be fine. Really? Like, he's one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in football. And I hear people do this. Well, the Raiders are going to be maybe division champions this year because they got Davante Adams. The Packers will be fine. No fudging way, guys. Like, you can't have it both ways. So, yes, like,
I'm so flipping
they got
confused.
better, but I just don't believe that offense going into the season with Allen Lazard, who I've always championed, and Robert Tonyan coming off of the ACL, and Christian Watson is an offense that you're going, that's a Super Bowl caliber offense.
Do you sub in any F word that you can put an ing on in the background for fuck?
I usually go fudge.
You said flipping first, though.
Yeah, that was close.
Because then we were wondering, was the WTF plus originally a what the flip plus?
Right.
Because that's a lot different than a what the fudge plus.
Yeah, much different.
Maybe we're misreading the fake. I like the fact that you don't swear, by the way, but you want to, right? Don't you every single time you want to drop a hard fuck right there?
Yeah, more often than not, I want to, yeah.
When did you stop? Your whole life?
No. I used to swear. I stopped September 23rd of 2006.
Holy shit, we got a date? Let's go.
No way. Happy anniversary.
This had to be
Happy anniversary.
May 4th.
Oh, yeah. Coming up on 18 years, though.
May 4th. So there's still a lot of free agent. Congrats, though, honestly.
Nice job, Dan.
That's flipping unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whenever that's unfudging fathomable for me to even think about because my natural conversation is this. Don't you have to second guess literally everything that you say to sub in the other F word in there or no? 18.
No, the only time it ever really I get pushed to
I swear, but don't push me.
Is my kids.
Oh, okay. Your kids. Yeah. You're a good dad, though.
I try not to be a bad one. I don't know if I'm a good one. I try not to be a bad one.
How's your TV time? You remember during the football season, you're on, what is it, 100 hours?
18 hours a day,
16,
so.
Yeah,
You do the math, 5,
Yeah,
6.
I'm pretty
100 hours a week.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
back pretty good here.
What's that,
I
pal?
feel back pretty good. I'll be on once a week, maybe something like that, till football picked back up again.
You're battling against Stephen A. You're doing all your good conversation. What are you diving into other than the Packers offense not having enough and being disrespectful to Davante Adams? What's a storyline you think that isn't being chatted about?
I think this probably how close the AFC East is going to be. I think that the Bills are the best team in football. I think if you told me that the Dolphins finished second place in that division, I could see it. I think the Patriots are probably the favorite to get to second place in that division. I think the Jets are going to be. I think Zack Wilson is primed for a very big year. I just believe it'll be hard for him not to play well. San Francisco is fascinating to me.
Do you know Zach? Do you know Zack Wilson?
I do not know.
Never met him.
I've never met him, no.
So this isn't like a personal feeling like you had with Carson. Remember with Carson, it was like, hey, this guy's unbelievable. What do you like about Zach? You love Zack Wilson?
Well, yeah, I think obviously the talent is there. What I liked about last year was when, he was pretty poor early on, and then he suffered the injury, and then came back from the injury, and you saw growth. I think the last 6 games, 6 touchdowns, 1 pick, so much better decision-making, much more in control. He stopped short-arming things and just finished his throws, which was great. Dude, their offensive line in 2 years went from really bad to pretty good, and if Becton stays healthy, unit. I think Uzama and Ruckert, you're on Pat's saying hi.
Hey, how's it going? Hope life's good. Hey there.
Yeah. Say hello.
You don't have to. Don't feel obligated. Don't feel obligated. We will say she was in the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
The podcast goes out. We'll say, Dan.
I think
And wife.
Garrett Wilson is going to be like Zack Wilson's Stephon Diggs. Finally one of those receivers that, hey, man, I need you to win versus man coverage with some size and route running and with it when I get you the ball. So, yeah, in a second year for their play caller, Mike LaFleur as well, there's a lot in place for him to take a big jump.
So you had high scores on these wide receivers, and that's what you're talking about with Green Bay not going up and get one of them. You just called Garrett Wilson Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs just got paid like $100 million or something like that to play wide receiver. You liked a lot of these wide receivers coming out, and are you on because there's now two different camps happening in the NFL. Teams, and everybody's talking about it, teams that are going to pay veteran wide receivers and teams that are going to groom veteran wide receivers that are going to be very good and let them go and try to find another one. Which camp are you in? And do you think that it's going to be as easy to replace A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams as everybody thinks? I don't. I think these dudes are irreplaceable, personally.
Yeah. No, I do not think it's going to be easy to replace those guys. Those guys are scheme changers. On Monday morning when defensive coordinators sit down, what are we going to do about that guy? I think that you have to answer that question starting with who's your quarterback and how much do you pay him. It's way easier to go sign those older guys, or not older, but veteran guys for those big contracts when you're not allocating all that money to your quarterback. I think that when you have a very expensive quarterback, it's hard, because like Tennessee, one of the main reasons that they moved on from AJ is because Tannehill's got the highest cap hit this year. So it's hard to sit there and go, we're going to pay the quarterback and we're going to pay the receiver. Now, I know Kansas City entertained it, and I know Green Bay, from what the reports are, we're going to pay Devontae, but Green Bay was going to go so far into the future of finances that they were willing to, kind of mortgage the future, so to speak. Dude, this is what I know. In the last 4 drafts, not including this one that just happened last week, there's been 40 wide receivers drafted in the first or second round. 34 of them have become great, really good, or pretty darn good players. There's only 6 right now that are like busts that you feel, dude can't play. So we are seeing a surge of these receivers being able to come in early and younger. Do you
think that's 100% because now let's take out how incredibly gifted athletically all these guys are, because they've been training at a younger age, I feel like, since the beginning, but we're much more of like a scheme offense. So if you can run the route that is drawn, everybody can kind of do it, as opposed to the dudes who can make their own plays, get themselves open, they have a bigger catch radius. It's almost like now the scheme is more important than all that. If you can just run that route good, the scheme will be able to indicate who's going to be open, which is what all the older quarterbacks are talking about, like the game getting almost easier at the quarterback position as opposed to harder.
There's no doubt.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. I think it's really 3 things, Pat. Number 1, these dudes grow up in 7-on-7.
Yeah.
They don't really – it's a little different than, when you hear Cooper Kupp's story and how much he just used to do with individual routes, or it's almost a little bit different or similar to when Devontae had that quote last year. He was like, man, what are you doing with all these drills? Go run actual routes. These dudes grow up, getting so many more reps as a wide receivers in 7-on-7. I think the second thing is –
hey, think about youth football back in the day. They'd throw the ball in the game maybe once or twice, right?
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
So think about it. If you start playing receiver at 10 years old and you play till you're 17 or 18 when you get drafted, we're talking about literally thousands more reps in game situations, or at least simulated game situations. I think the second thing is the scheme development. A lot of these routes are, hey, run a bubble. Hey, run a slant. Hey, run a go route, and we're giving advantageous looks for these receivers and for quarterbacks. We are going to take care of the inside linebacker with the scheme or the run fake or the RPO. You just run already outside you. All you have to do is catch the ball, And so,
hey, we got to call you back.
It is easier.
We got to call you back. We got to call you back. This connection just went bad.
Connecticut.
Why you got to bury the state all like that?
Because that's where he is.
Yeah,
and
we don't
that's
know.
what happens in Ohio.
He's probably at his beach house.
Yeah, could be.
See how tan he's got? He looks good right now.
Yeah.
Nah, no way.
that's good.
Danny's got to be in Connecticut because when ESPN calls him in for a last-second segment at 9:30 tonight, he's got to be able to get in there right away.
And he's got to cut like a 10-minute promo on something that, hey, you got to watch all the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Dano, you're back. Hey, we're talking about how younger wide receivers are adapting to the game so much easier because 7-on-7 is giving them literally thousands and thousands of more reps than anybody in the past. Yeah. And also the scheme making people open and helping out the quarterback, which I believe you said, and we're starting to describe how a scheme will help take away a linebacker that maybe was a problem in the past.
Yeah, so you're giving more simplified routes and more winners. I mean, that's also, Pat, why we're seeing the completion percentage for quarterbacks go up. What used to be, hey, if you completed 62% of your passes, that was phenomenal. Now it's like you should complete 66, 67, some of these built-in easy throws. And I'd say the third thing is this, dude. Those guys don't fear getting killed anymore crossing the middle of the field. And the defensive backs aren't allowed to maul dudes 10 yards down the field and put hands all over them. So, it is easier. It's easier to get open. It's less scary to know that when I take this 10-yard in route, there's not someone that's going to come and absolutely take my head off. I mean, you used to hear it years ago. Receivers used to not make it because too scared to go across the middle. He can't get off, the jam 10 yards downfield. We don't really hear that much anymore because guys aren't allowed to do it.
Dan, you're really good at what you do, pal. Way to break it down.
Yeah.
And by the way, just because it's easier or let's say softer doesn't mean it's bad for the game. I think people are enjoying it at a much higher clip than it used to. And if guys can be a little bit more healthy from this, but then the knee shots become a problem. I mean, it's going to be a violent game forever, I guess, but it is much more wide open in the middle. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Dan, what did the Patriots get as far as your grading scale goes with the draft? Was it a what the fudge? Was it like a gosh darn D? And then also, is your brain still in a pretzel because Bill won't announce an offensive coordinator or play caller?
I love you and hate you at the same time. I really do.
I don't know why you love me.
The Patriots draft was weird to me. I would probably give it a below average D level grade.
What? Plus or minus? D plus or minus?
Right. No. So here's my feelings on the Patriots grade or draft. Okay, I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about the offensive line or the offense. If they like them, great, awesome. Tyquan Thornton, I would ask anybody, name me and this is just the truth, the last receiver that came from Baylor that was good.
Fucking Josh Gordon.
Okay, Josh Gordon, supplemental draft pick. Was not a second-round pick. But then we have Corey Coleman. We have Kendall Wright. We have Denzel Mims. We got multiple receivers that were drafted early that were really good players at Baylor, fast dudes, and they just for some reason don't transition to the league and play well. And that's my concern with that second-round pick. Yes, they needed speed, but after those guys, or after he got drafted, Sky Moore went to Kansas City. Fast receiver, but a good receiver. Alec Pierce went to Indy, who I think is going to be a really good pro. So I just would have liked to seen a better receiver selected. They took 2 running backs. They got Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. They don't need 2 running backs. They took a quarterback in the 4th round.
What's Bill doing?
Does
Bill know what he's doing anymore?
Damian Harris and James White.
Guy's out for a hot dog.
What's this guy doing? Is Matt Patricia? What's going on? Is this the Lions?
No.
That's what Dan's saying.
No, Dan's just curious. But Damian Harris and James White, they're on the last year. They're not getting re-signed. We had to replace them. Okay, and
why is he sending so many mixed messages? He said a fullback's not even a position anymore, and then he drafts 15 running backs.
Exactly. We're going O-line, we're going wide receiver, we're going running back, and Mac's just going to drop back and fucking pick apart defenses.
Who's calling their plays? Like, honestly, who do you think is going to call their offensive plays?
Mac Jones. Mac Jones is going to call plays in the huddle. He's going to tell each guy what route he wants them to run, and then he's going to fucking change the play at the line of scrimmage, and they're going to score 80 touchdowns this year.
That's because Mac Jones is about to learn more about football than any other quarterback in the history because
Bill Belichick is teaching him what the defense is going to be wanting to do to him.
Wow. Blow your mind, Dan?
What's up, dude?
No chance. Zero shot.
Did you hear Ninkovich bring up a very, very, very solid point? That Nink, he was up there for a long time, knows a lot about the way it operates up there. And we asked him, we're like, hey, do you think it's a what the flip type thing that, Mac Jones is going to have another different voice in his ear calling plays or whatever. And Nick just asked a simple question. Who is a better person to teach a quarterback about what the NFL's defenses are going to do than Bill Belichick himself? And that's a great question. Who is? Do you still think that's not a good thing? Do you not think the Bill Belichick era with Mac Jones potentially being a thing is a great thing for Mac Jones? Because I think a lot of people, especially in Boston, around New England, feel that is. Because especially with how smart Mac is. Allegedly, Mac's like a genius. So if you just got Bill Belichick and Ernie, by the way, who can do this because as an advisor, with a dry erase board and a full, and Mac Jones is just like a fucking copying machine, allegedly, his brain. Yep. And then boom, he comes out slicing and dicing. Now, obviously, maybe not to that extent, but don't you think that could be a good thing, a great thing for Mac?
No.
What? What? How could that not be great?
Okay.
Oh, no.
You think that Adam Gase and Matt Nagy can like talk defensive football relatively well? Like they can talk what you should do against the defense relatively well. Those guys didn't get hired because they're terrible at it.
You comparing Bill Belichick to Matt Nagy and Adam Gase right now?
You froze at the beginning. I think you said something that said, hey, I'm not comparing Bill Belichick to Matt Nagy.
There's a difference between understanding what a defense is and how to go against that defense, and then in the moment, calling plays, designing game plans. Like those are two very different things. And to not have anybody who's done that, to my knowledge, on your offensive staff, we watch really smart offensive coaches come into the NFL all the time.
Is that who you just talked about? Right there, those two coaches?
Smart offensive minds cannot call games.
Okay. That's what you were saying. Oh, okay. Because you froze at the beginning of that. We thought you were comparing Bill Belichick to Nagy and Gase there just as a thing.
No, I'm just like watch it. There's a difference a very big difference between like knowing what I should do against a defense and then call a game flow, get a quarterback in the rhythm, get him into a good third down situation. There's a way different feel for that and a way different world for that. That's why you have the best play callers I've ever been around were guys that had incredible feel, not the best offensive minds.
Are those play callers just play callers forever too? Like Andy Reid, right? He's still calling plays and still in there.
Play caller forever.
It's just the way it is, right?
Play caller forever.
Some people have it, some people don't. Every good play caller end up being a head coach?
No, and I don't know if every great play caller ends up being a good head coach. Sometimes guys are just supreme in that role because they just have that feel for what's needed in that game.
Oh, the Peter principle, you're saying. Okay. Last question here, Dan. We can't thank you enough. Go ahead, Tone.
Dano, who starts week 1? Is it the number 2 overall pick Mitch Trubisky or the number 20 overall pick Kenny Pickett?
I probably anticipate Trubisky to start. This is what I would do if I was Pittsburgh.
Oh, here we go.
I would say open competition. Mitchell Trubisky is our starter. If Kenny Pickett beats him out, then we made the right pick.
Well, how come Mitch Trubisky isn't going to be a mentor? How come he's not going to be a mentor to Kenny Pickett? How come Mitch Trubisky is not going to be a mentor to Kenny Pickett? Because Tannehill said, listen, we're in the same room. All right, if he learns from something, cool. But isn't like a backup quarterback normally like working for the starting quarterback almost at times throughout the week? That's why adding in the competition in the quarterback room is very fascinating. And it's very mixed reception on the internet and on these shows, obviously, from players in media and fans. What fans think Tannehill should do, what some members of the media think Tannehill should do, and then former players, what they think Tannehill should do. And everybody's split, by the way. There isn't a right answer in any of this. But how do you separate that whole thing? Like Trubisky could potentially be a great veteran backup for him at one point if he ends up becoming the starter. And for Tannehill, Tannehill just got $100 million last year. He wants to be the starter of that team. Malik is a 3rd or 4th round pick or whatever it is. He will be in there. Hopefully he helps me. Isn't that an interesting, conversation that's taking place right now, Dan? How do you view it?
I think it's all personal. I think it's all up to you as what is that something that is important to you or not? I still think you could be a tremendous teammate and not necessarily mentoring the person that was selected to take your job. Like, I don't know, did Aaron Rodgers feel that Brett Favre mentored him? Probably not. It worked out. It wasn't a disaster. Guy ended up being a decent player. So I think a lot gets overblown with that. If you want to do it, great. And if you don't feel like you want to do it and it's not going to negatively impact your football team, I think way too big a deal is made out of this.
Yeah, I think so too. And by the way, there's still jobs, and there's only 32 of those positions in some different ones. And it's happening at every single position in the NFL. It's just sometimes when it happens in the quarterback room, it becomes a big story because the quarterbacks are the story of the league. It's happening at every position.
Yeah, and I've always said this, dude. Like, you get taught from an early age as a quarterback. Everybody's eyes are on you. Like, they're watching every single thing that you do. And when you start to learn quarterbacking, you get told when you walk in the huddle, that is your huddle. Like, you got to take ownership of it, and you start to build tremendous, like, internal pride about that. Like, this is my huddle. These are my guys. And it becomes like a very personal thing to you. So no, I don't ever want to help somebody step into that.
Oh no.
Somebody to be the step. It's like, no, I don't want to help you. So, like, that's my job. That's my team. That's my huddle. That's philosophy. What?
I think a lot of people feel that way, by the way. And then some people are completely opposite end of it. I had a couple dudes come in, and I think they thought they were trying to take my job or whatever. And I feel like I tried to be nice to them, I think. I don't know.
Sure.
I tried my best to, but I had supreme confidence that was not going to take place. But there is so many politics in the game of football too that you got to like really,
wild.
You know what I mean? There's how much money is person making, who's friends with I mean, there's just so much in there that people can start overthinking. I don't blame anybody that just worries about their job because, by the way, if they play their best, that is the most important thing, to be the best teammate that they could possibly be, especially in the NFL. We appreciate you so much for joining us, Dan. I think Ty had a question for you, or did you want to say goodbye to Dan, Ty?
No, I mean, Dan's going to say he thinks the Lions are going to win the fucking NFC North this year. So that's okay. I appreciate it, Dan. You know, have a good one, pal.
And Foxy has a follow-up to that, I believe.
Dan, are the Lions going 10-7 and win a playoff game this year or what?
I think the Lions are going to play meaningful games in December.
10-7.
Sorry, his service is so bad. It's calling from
Playoff
Detroit.
win.
Joining us in Detroit, Dan Orlovsky right now. Feels like.
Yikes.
That's unbelievable. Hey, you're the man, dude. Detroit didn't deserve that. Okay, where are you at? Are you in your home right now? You don't have to give your address.
Yeah, I'm in Connecticut.
It's
I'm in
internet.
Connecticut. It's another gloomy, gray day in Connecticut.
Yeah, because it sucks.
Hey, flying into the Northeast is not fun. I mean, it is always choppy up there. All right, fuck it. Can't talk. Dan Orlovsky. Dan's always good.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Always well-versed. Says some things that none of us agree with, though.
Yeah, for sure.
On TV and on this show. But he sticks by him and he continues to go. That's why you got to have nothing but respect for old Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, and he watches the film. He's not watching highlights. He has said on the show he'll watch games 3 or 4 times before Monday, which you got to respect.
That Tannehill stuff is awesome to think about. Because the fans, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, take care of your little brother like that. It's your teammate, you know? Okay.
It's because they want him to be good next.
Yeah, in a movie, that is exactly how it works out. With actual humans in there. Now, granted, Tannehill has made a lot of money playing football. Let's talk about this with A.J. Hawk on the other side, because Tannehill gave a full speech about where he was after last season and everything. And I think that plays heavily into this entire conversation about mentorship and what he's focusing on and what he's not focusing on. It's a beautiful day. May the 4th.
There it is.
Are you supposed to baseball swing this thing? Is that how they're doing it? Are they walking around like what?
Yeah.
I mean,
Samurai move.
Is that what they're doing?
There's no
If
correct
you want
way.
to.
There's no correct way.
Because I did it as a sword earlier to Orlovsky when you fucking buried him, dude. I didn't know if I should have taken it out and, like, you know.
It's a saber.
Yeah.
So what's that mean?
Wield it like a sword.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
like a
could
samurai
square
sword.
you could square up when they're shooting lasers at you to deflect them.
Oh, so it's like this. It's a stabber.
You can do that.
Yeah, but
it's
if
a
you're trying to,
slicer.
like-
More of a slicer.
Yeah.
You can go southpaw with it too. Hold it the other way.
Why?
No, upside down. Sorry, I forgot southpaw means lefty. yeah, like if you
Inverted.
like a
Inverted.
backwards
Upside down.
paddle.
Like
yeah.
this? Does this thing cut right through me?
Oh, yeah,
it will.
yeah.
It will.
Can't
So
let it cut
those who
through you.
carry it like this are fucking gutsy.
Yeah.
They're champions of
They
the
are
thing.
Big time champions.
Because that could hit the thigh.
Oh, yeah.
No way they got thighs. They run like this. That's a fucking.
Yeah.
And then they go, wah,
Yeah.
Yep.
wah.
Yeah. Where's your throat, buddy? On the ground. Yeah.
Whole head, yeah.
See that? And
There
then
it was.
you come back with a jab there.
Oh, on the back end?
Yeah.
Pow. Why don't you just do it with this one, the laser side?
Oh no, sorry. I was when you were holding it
like
southpaw,
this, and then
bang.
Yeah.
Right through 'em.
Yeah. Yep. Kill two people
It's
at
an
once.
elegant weapon.
Very elegant.
Yeah.
I wish Zito had the
Thing's
double.
100 pounds.
There's a double sided.
Huh?
There's a double sided one too.
I do on the other side of one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the double
Both
sided.
sides. And you go. Yeah. Exactly.
I seen one of those at the store that I wasn't supposed to walk into as an adult.
Yeah. Sure. Exactly the same thing. Except it
double-sided,
would burn
yeah.
a hole in your butthole if you were doing anything with it.
There's no we all knew.
No, I know, but
we were all just
Why'd
kind
you
of.
have to go there?
But you didn't. I wasn't sure if you knew that if it was a lightsaber, that it would probably slice right through you like hot
Yeah,
butter.
we already.
Yeah.
Yep. We know.
Thanks for hammering home. That's a good lesson. We're back in the next hour. AJ Hawk will be here. Also, Ian Rappaport, third hour. We're going to put his feet to the fire about what happened on the AFL Network. Phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line. 1-833-4 McAfee. Garth Brooks caused an earthquake last night.
Hell yeah!
Down in Baton Rouge. Operator, want to put me on through my love down in Baton Rouge. Hurry up.
Get her on the line. Got a tongue to the girl just one more time.
That's right. Fucking Garth down there.
Hell yeah.
Place is rocking.
All right, we're back in 5. Why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it. And your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. If you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, you know, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions, there's a reliance on coaching, there's a reliance on preparation, there's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why at times I've taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat
What the fuck are
McAfee
you
Show
doing?
starts in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, beautiful people. Hour 2 of that show on this glorious May 4th, 2022 shall begin right now. Thank you for watching here at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. The Toxic Table is here at Ty Schmidt, at Boston Connor. Got so many things running through my mind because there's about to be a legend joining us live from an attic. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here.
Dahn.
Tone, how was the money last night? Not only for Hammer Down, but for the books as a whole, because Pittsburgh Penguins beat the New York Rangers in New York in front of a lot of khaki wearing people. Saw a lot of khakis on TV last night as the rain. A lot of suits watching those Rangers play, which makes it feel even better to get a win up there in triple overtime. Tone, did you guys bet on the Pens to win that game? Or they're plus a lot of money, I believe.
We would like to thank Gumpy. He forced us to bet on the Pens.
He did. He was screaming it all day yesterday.
And he made us on Hammer Down take the Pens. So we won there. Caps were big dog, huge dogs. They won. Avs are an absolute wagon.
Yeah.
Huge favorites. They won. And then Texas hockey, unfortunately, did not win that.
They battled.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
They battled.
They didn't battle. They didn't go.
Covered
they
plus
played
one.
two fucking
They covered
games
plus
last night.
1.5.
All right. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, way to go. Way
Nice.
to go, Texas.
Good effort,
Way to go, Texas hockey. Nicky Skates. That was the best thing that could ever happen for the NHL last night, right? The greatest player of all time, Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins, underdogs in front of a bunch of suits in New York against the Rangers, played 2 full fucking games. Now, not 2. I mean, we're 14 minutes away, I guess,
damn
from
near.
2 full games. They played an extra 46 minutes of overtime hockey because in playoffs they have different rules as well. It would normally go to a shootout, but no, this one must be finished on the ice, boys. 5-on-5 as well, not even going down to 4-on-4. We had a goalie just quit in the middle of it. What happened to him? And our guy, who we need to not maybe say we don't want to ever see again, like I just said yesterday, Louis Domingue comes in as a chef.
Always
and,
knew.
And cooks up a dub for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Geno Malkin gets a goal. Sidney Crosby, multiple assists. The Gensel almost had a fucking hat trick in New York. The bread man from the Rangers couldn't get the job done. So our Super Boost didn't hit. So shout out. I didn't know they wore that many. Honestly, I had no idea there was that many suits in the arena for the Rangers. Okay? That's on me. Pens have played the Islanders last couple years in big-time games, so I see the Islanders barn and what they were doing, and I think I just automatically assumed that. Too many suits in that Rangers game.
Salt of the earth Islanders.
Yeah, I had too many suits in there for my liking, and obviously I'm very thankful that the Pens got a big win. But what happened to the goalie, and why did Louis Domingue go in 2.5 overtimes into a game and get a win and stand on his fucking head? Save percentage 1.00 last night for old Louis Domingue.
Yeah, you mentioned it. 17 saves coming in cold, no warm-up after eating the spicy pork and broccoli. No mention yet on what happened to Casey DeSmith. Initially, everyone thought it was a cramp. He just kind of left in the middle of the game. There wasn't really a collision.
I wonder if he
right
was
before
falling
that.
asleep like me.
Could have been.
Yeah.
He might have been nodding off.
So
Yeah.
bored.
All right, I need to get out of here. One more time, this thing, I'm going to hit the ice.
Hey, I will say, for going that long, the guys held up pretty well. Usually it gets real sludgy and slow, and it's kind of poor play. They kept the pace as best they could.
How about first playoff game? They got to play 2 games. They're going to be dead the rest of the
my
fucking
God.
thing.
Not good.
That is such an excruciatingly tiring sport, too, hockey.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going out there and sprinting, basically. They're just sprinting for 40 seconds to a minute. Then they go onto the bench. Then they're out there. And some guys are getting stranded, especially in overtime, because guys are getting a little bit more tired. So they're getting stranded out there. Minute 15, I think some people were going. Minute 30 last night. People were dying on the ice.
There's only one thing left to do then. You sweep the Rangers to get some time off before the next series.
That's right, Sid. Rally the boys.
Hell yeah.
Joining us now is a man that would... He'd play 6 overtimes if he had to.
Yeah,
Easily.
I think I was a part of a game that had 5 overtimes. Louisville.
Oh, in college?
Jesus.
Yeah.
The dog fights?
5 or 6 overtimes. Maybe 4. 5, I think.
Damn.
It was a long night. I mean, that was a long game. A lot happened. That type of shit's crazy because at any moment, one fuck up, it's over. All of this, the last, hour 40 of us just battling, one accidental slip, fucking game over. One penalty that's stupid, and the other team gets on the power play, fucking game over. Now, it should have been a 5-minute major in the fucking first period. Pens would have been up 6-2 after that because we would have just won on a power play run against them. But nonetheless, the Rangers fans are complaining about the refs. Okay,
of course.
we lost Dick Rickle, pal.
Come on.
Yeah, you
place
gotta-
for that in the game.
No, and it was a 2-minute regular basic. Get out of here.
To be completely objective and fair, I will say I didn't hate the refs turning that into a 2-minute minor because it is the playoffs. As far as the overturned goal concerns, I would like to say to the Rangers fans, I apologize. I apologize that you blew a 2-goal lead.
Oh, I'm
that
sorry.
you couldn't score a goal on a 30-year-old journeyman ECHL goal. Time the guy had no warm-up.
He had spicy J and broccoli.
I'm sorry that you think the league wants Sidney Crosby to win everything. You're the best market. You're the best, biggest TV market they have.
Yeah, they would want the Rangers to win.
Yeah, Clont.
Not a baby Nick.
Get over it.
Shout out
fired
Louis
up.
Domingue, man.
You started out there, you lost me. I want to let you know, first sentence, you lost me. About being okay with them overturning that from a 5-minute major into a basic gas penalty. I was like, oh, treason, almost. But then you went on a full run about, hey, fucking get over it. If we lose that game, by the way, I am bitching, leading off the show about that thing not being a 5-minute major.
Have to.
Leading off the show. You can't just hook the goalie, by the way, probably hurt him.
Yeah.
That's why they took a run at the goalie, and then they're complaining about it. Get the guy. Joining us now.
Got to overcome it.
An absolute superstar of a man, college football national champion, Super Bowl champion, Ryder Cup champion, COVID survivor, AJ Hall. Hey, let's go Centerville.
That's right. You guys jumped right in the middle of hockey talk, huh? So your Pens got the big win last night. Is that their last one of the playoffs?
Well,
What?
we got 3 more at least wins.
You're the one that told me hockey season's over and that the Penguins are dead. So
Case-
that's all I'm going off.
Well, first of all, when it was dead, we had no goalie. Then I learned that this is the Smith character, pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good goalie. Okay, so we got a goalie all of a sudden. I know hockey too much. You know, the thing, I know too much about it. That's why they call me the hockey aficionado. If you don't have a goalie, you're fucked in the playoffs, okay? The reason why I know that is because when every single game is on national television is the playoffs, that's when I get to watch the Penguins in the most consecutive days. Now that they're on ESPN+, it's very nice, but for a long time, when we would go on a playoff run, and we had a goalie that forgot how to play goalie, it was fucking over. The game was over. Nothing mattered. You could have the best players on the ice. They could incredible rhythm and passing and smashing and everything like that. You got a goalie that they ain't got a fucking glove, you're done. It's over. Because those guys are snipers with the puck on the other team. They can be doofuses out there, be a much worse team. If they have a goalie that is unstoppable or unbeatable, they're going to win. That's just how it goes. We lost our fucking guy, okay? As the season was getting important. Backup guy, didn't know he existed before announcing that he was going to be the starter. He played pretty good. Then, 2 overtimes in the last night, first fucking playoff game for Lord Stanley's Cup, he subs himself out, and Louis Domingue comes in.
Lightning Lou.
This dude had just got done eating broccoli and spicy chicken. Legit, they showed his meal that he was eating in between the second overtime and the third overtime or whatever, because he was just like, he thought it was a joke when they told him he was going in. Hey, you're going in? What? I haven't moved in 4 hours, he says. I've been sitting here with no helmet on and baseball cap on the side in the smallest portion with the largest pads out of everybody's way for the last 5 hours. What are we even doing? 17 stops. Fucking leads the best. We're winning the goddamn cup again. Now we're back. I know too much about hockey. That's why I was negative earlier, saying it's over because we didn't have a goalie. Now we got fucking 2 of them. One of them subs himself out. The other one comes in. They're like the fucking hawking animal. The Road Warriors right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins got 2 goalies that are beating Igor Slafkovsky. All right, that's why. AJ, so hockey is back, pal.
Okay, fair enough. I understand now. Are you going to have to DoorDash this guy P.F. Chang's in between every period now from here on out?
P.F. Chang's would be an upgrade from what he was eating in a period.
Yes, yeah, it was bad.
Oh, where did he pack it with him?
I think it was Arena. Arena.
Cafeteria food.
Yeah, Arena cafeteria food.
Stupid garden food.
They're all in khaki serving that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
why are you so distraught at that? Was it just everyone's dressed up at MSG or what?
Yeah, it was like Ole Miss. It looked like an Ole Miss football game. You know, where like it's a Saturday cocktail party or whatever. Everybody's dressed up.
Sure.
I think it's strictly because we're playing against them. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to find everything to bury them about. But I did start noticing a lot of khakis. I was like, God damn, there is a lot of khakis in the stands here. And you would think that the playoff tickets, especially where they're in Madison Square Garden. Those tickets are going to be very expensive. So probably going to be, certain echelon of human there anyways. But hockey's supposed to be a raucous atmosphere. It didn't feel like it to me last night, but that's because Louis Domingue was able to get off the bench and have a fucking shutout performance while sitting in there all evening.
Well, when you look around like at the other, teams as fans, the Bruins, not many khakis. I don't think there's a lot of khakis in Pittsburgh. The Islanders, who you just brought up.
By the way, our colors would go well with khakis.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And still, everyone's rocking their custom,
jorts. Put the jorts on. I want to see jorts in the stands. All right? I want to see pucks flying. I was going to attack them for not being respectful for the game in their khakis. If they didn't throw their hats onto the ice, if Gensel got a hat trick. Like that tweet was sitting on deck. Me attacking the Rangers as just hockey fans as a whole. I got nothing against them really, but right now we got to take them out.
Well, you have to.
I haven't won a playoff series since 2016 or something like
that.
The
Pens?
Since 18-19.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Still.
Wait,
where's Lundqvist?
18-19?
Lundqvist is coming on that talkie talk tonight.
What?
Is he really?
Hank Lundqvist, yep. Friend of Rupper.
Oh shit!
Fucking
holy shit!
The king?
The king? Oh, that man's too good looking. It could be on Hockey Talk.
No, there's a lot of attractive dudes on.
John
Hamm was on.
Oh, true.
And Gumpy, and Nick, and Rob, obviously. Let's talk about the NFL international games. No. I don't want to talk about that with you. I want to talk about something else. Tannehill, he's getting killed and buried right now in all this, okay? So Tannehill talking about, hey, it's not my job to know. I think we have the video, actually. Let's run the video of Ryan Tannehill talking about Malik Willis getting drafted to the Tennessee Titans.
In a quarterback room in the same room. We're competing against each other. We're watching the same tape. We're doing the same drills. I don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he learns from me along the way, then that's a great thing.
No ill intent, I don't think. He just said, like, hey, it's not my job to mentor him. It didn't sound like he was putting him down. But I think the bigger story here is this happens at every position, right? The NFL is trying to get younger and cheaper at every single position. When it happens at the quarterback position, obviously it's conversation because the quarterbacks run the league. Now, to learn a little bit more about Ryan Tannehill and his state of mind, we have to look deeper into his conversation yesterday in his press conference. I guess after the loss to the Bengals. Second straight year, losing a playoff game at home, their first playoff game, not being able to get past 2 years ago the Ravens, last year the Bengals. He said he went into a very dark place. Like, hey, he said it's a deep scar. Tannehill said of the loss, every time I closed my eyes, I kind of rewatched the game. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep for weeks. I was in a dark place, and it took me a while. A lot of work to get out of it. I've worked through it, but therapy, talking to people, time helped. It took a lot of work to get through it, Tannehill said. He had a lot of therapy sessions and is now able to look back on the game and learn from it while moving on. Speaking of therapy, he actually said, this is the first time that I absolutely needed therapy to pull me out of a dark space. Now, that's via ESPN. Paul Kuharski had a video. Tannehill, whenever he was asked that question, is like, man, just a few weeks ago, I fucking didn't even want to be. I'm not a coach now. I'm not. I'm trying to figure my own shit out. I'm trying to fucking win a playoff game here. They just paid me $100 million a couple years ago. Like, there's a lot of expectations around here. I hope this dude does great. If he learns from me, that's awesome. But I think Tannehill probably made a decision as he was going through all that. Like, I have to commit myself fully to whatever he's going to do. And I think that's getting lost in the discussion of mentorship as a whole in this entire situation.
Yeah, I think it's interesting seeing this. I mean, what he's saying is true. It's factual. Like, he's not his job to mentor anybody. Now, yes, should you? Most likely. Should it happen naturally? Yes, it should. It doesn't need to be forced upon from the media and other people. The question you could ask, I'd ask Malik Willis, hey, are you looking forward to having Tannehill? Or are you looking forward to learning from Tannehill? You don't have to say, like, from him being a mentor, like, put an official title to it. But is Tannehill even old enough to know or to have seen when Favre said, like, it wasn't his job to coach Aaron when he came in?
No, maybe. Yeah, I'd assume he's a fan of the game. He's a wide receiver, too, so I'd assume he paid attention to all that stuff. Remember Tannehill back in the day.
It was a big deal back then. Do you remember that when Brett, like, they asked Brett, and he's like, it's not my job to mentor anybody.
Big deal with Brett and Aaron. Big deal with Ben Roethlisberger and Mason Rudolph a couple years ago when Ben basically said, it is not my job to be a mentor. And I think there's two different ways to look at it, and obviously everybody's torn. And you kind of alluded to it, like, should it happen naturally? Yes. But in a movie, right, when people are writing a movie, especially about their favorite players or the quarterback, an NFL quarterback, in the movie, the feel-good movie, that person is turning over every single piece of game that they had acquired through their entire NFL career, all their bumps and lumps and scars and hours of work and things that they picked up through hard knowledge. They just got to turn that over in the first month or two so they can hand the keys over to their job and a position immediately. That's how is that how people expect it to go, though, honestly?
I guess. I mean, I think this is, I know you had Dahn on here, and he said this is overblown, and I agree. Like, it is overblown, all this talk about what you're going to do. I would imagine Tannehill seems like a great guy. He and Willis are going to have a great relationship. He is going to be his quasi-mentor without having to sit there and get a notary to sign off that's saying this is what I'm going to do. Like, it's going to happen naturally. But the question is, how do you want to handle it publicly with the media? Yeah, of course. Like, the question being asked, like, I can understand Tannehill's head and his mind saying, yeah, of course. No, I'm going to go out here and I have to play great football, or I'm not going to be on this team, whether he's here or not.
Hold on. What if he gives an answer where he's fully focused on mentoring Malik Willis? The fans are going to say, this guy isn't focused on winning games right now.
Yeah.
He's just handing over his job.
He should have gone the other way. He should have done, like, you know what? Every waking second of my life now is committed to making Malik Willis the best quarterback possible. What if he'd have done that?
I'm fucking giving him tests. You think what he's getting from the coaches is going to be tough? Wait until I'm testing him on Wednesday morning about what's coming in on the Wednesday install. That's what Malik Willis is looking to. I'm focused on that much more than I'm even focused on winning games, because, like, right now, that's what matters. Okay, so he should tell him.
Hey, you should tell him, like, I'm gonna fight for Willis to get first team reps. I'm gonna give him some of my reps every single day.
Yeah, because in a lot of places the backup gets like next to no reps with the starters. Not here. I'm actually sacrificing 75% of them. Hey, he needs.
I wish he would have trolled everybody and done something like that.
But I think that's why what you're referring to is important. Like, this is going to naturally happen. Tannehill doesn't seem like a fucking dick of a person.
If they're both good dudes, if Tannehill seems like a good dude, Malik Willis seems like a good dude, I have a feeling they're going to get along very well.
Yeah, there's no ill intent in Paul Kuharsky's video. He's like, it wasn't like I'm shutting down every conversation, but we are in a quarterback room together, and if he learns stuff, he's going to learn stuff. I enjoy it, but there's been split. Kurt Warner said, if anybody needs a mentor, he can call me. I will never understand the I'm not here to mentor the next guy mentality. So for all you young QBs that need a mentor, DM me, and I'll be that guy. Happy to help in any way I can. By the way, young quarterbacks should hit up Kurt Warner and try to get some information out of him. And I think anytime you can get free advice from somebody that's been there, done that in any field that you are currently trying to attack, you should go and get advice or be mentored. With that being said, Kurt also knows where Tannehill's coming from.
Yeah.
He also knows. Yeah, he knows where Tannehill's coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, you're not going to be happy about it. You're going to be pissed, but that's what drives every athlete. Like, giving it to, like, okay, somebody when I was in the third grade looked at me wrong. Okay, well, I'm 35 years old, but it still feels good because I'm proving that person wrong. Like, that's what drives athletes.
Hey, that person really said some shit way back. You remember that? But that's real. That is very real. What were you going to say, Connor?
Like, people are acting as if, Tannehill's saying, like, yeah, if Malik Willis asked me a question, I'm going to tell him to fuck off. Like, that's obviously not the case. And you talked about it with Luck and Peyton. Like, you didn't think he needed to just, like, mentor him, teach him everything. But just for him to see how you're supposed to act, is more important than actually, like, having the QB1 or the veteran sit you down and basically walk you through, like, every game or practice.
Especially with how smart Andrew Luck was. if he would have just seen just one, all he needs is one instance of each situation, and it would have been like, oh, I'm allowed to have the confidence to say, nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Like those are
Peyton probably saw that from somebody at some form at some point in his career. I'm guessing like, oh, okay, I can be this guy. Maybe it was his dad, maybe it was other people, but he saw that too probably, where he was like, all right, and he banked that in the back of his brain.
like, hey, I'm allowed to say we're not doing that. Like, I'm much more comfortable with this situation right here. This is what we're going to do. That's why I think in my eyes, and I guess you lived it, but in a lot of people that have been around or been lucky enough to be on a team where a quarterback is, a guy, like hearing that Aaron had no say for like 15 years, that was wild to me. That was absolutely, I was mind blown. I just automatically, because I am an idiot, I am a sports stooge. What I experience, I just assume a lot of people have experienced, and that's just kind of how it is. So whenever I see Peyton do his thing, and then he's also in the pantheon of the same exact people there, you just assume that's the case. It is not, but they're changing. They're changing. They're coming around. And let's talk about what Dan Orlovsky said in the first hour. He talked about how the Green Bay Packers did not address needs that they have to get to the Super Bowl. He actually gave a what the flip, maybe, or a what the fudge plus on the Packers draft. When you heard Aaron talk about how casual he was about how he knew basically everything that was going to happen in the draft, what we were just talking about with Peyton, it feels like that's only good for the relationship, and I think that's only good for the program, by the way. When the quarterback is dialed in with the front office, with the head coach, and everybody's rowing the boat, shout out Minnesota, in the same direction. Did you get the same sense, and is that why you didn't overreact to the draft at all?
Yeah, for sure. And because you assume because he has been talking to him, and we know that there are still some veteran wide receivers out there, maybe that was, a conversation like, hey, let's look into Jarvis Landry or something like that. I also think Dan didn't mention it, but I don't think Packers fans are acting like, oh, Devontae Adams, like they're just going to be fine without him. Like, granted, Rodgers does have a track record of making these guys who maybe aren't necessarily as good in the league, making them much better. But I also think you look at the Packers right now, like they have one of the best backfield tandems in the NFL. And the first year Rodgers was with LaFleur, they really relied on play action, and he was incredible, like, much better than he'd been in the last however many years in his career. I think if he's comfortable with where their roster's at right now and where they're going and the vision that's been laid out, and we assume he's been talking to him, then I don't know why fans would overreact to what happened in the draft.
AJ, did Ty hit that right on the fucking head or not? I think so.
Yeah, I think Ty probably speaks for most Packer fans. The question for the Packers, though, who's going to be – you're not going to replace Devontae. We know that. But Aaron can throw people open and make people look very, very good. But who's going to be that dude that when they need something, 3rd and 6, you're one-on-one, who's going to be your guy that's going to win those one-on-ones consistently? We'll probably see someone grow into that role.
Here's another stat that old Orlovsky dropped. 40 wide receivers have been drafted in the last something years. I don't know how many. 3 years, 2 years?
Yeah,
Two,
the first two rounds.
2 years in the first 2 rounds, whatever it was. 40 wide receivers in a short amount of time in the first 2 rounds. And 34 of them have gone on to have great success. Pretty darn good, really good, and great success. 6 of them were busts, or maybe it was 35. But he's pretty darn good, really good, and then great is the 3 tiers that 36 out of the 40 in the first 2 that have been drafted have kind of in the first 2 rounds have fallen into. So with the wide receivers getting better younger, and the thought that Green Bay missed out on one of those absolute stud early round quarterbacks, even though you got Christian Watson and everything like that. I think he's only going to get better with A.J. Dillon and with the ability that Aaron has. And we talked about why that probably happened. And he said one of them is the scheme. All these new coaches utilize every single yard on the field to really make people get open. So that's why these younger guys are maybe having the success that they're having, because they're able to run these routes that are basically just in there. And there isn't hey, everybody's got to read the defense to see what the defense is doing. Oh, they're in cover 2. I got to go do this. But Aaron has kind of pieced that together alongside LaFleur's like scheme offense. And I think that is why they're probably looking for a certain type of wide receiver right now. Got to be super smart, got to be able to adjust. I think they're running an offense that's different than just the plug and place. I think they do have that with LaFleur. But if you remember, they had those Zoom calls where they would sit for hours and hours about what Aaron likes, what he likes. Aaron's an adjust at the line guy. LaFleur's a scheme guy. So they're probably trying to find a certain type of wide receiver that they can get in there, brain-wise, football IQ-wise, ability to do certain routes-wise. I feel like they got a plan. It's hard for me to question that type of shit from people that are in the building making the decision.
And I think it's okay to think that maybe like the first 8 weeks of the year they're not going to be
great.
They're not because they're losing quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, and Devontae. But by when it matters, they're going to be good enough that they're going to be fine. They're going to win. They're probably going to win the North easily.
He said they're going to lose to the Lions, maybe.
Whoa!
Dang, once or twice?
You're right, because once does happen.
Yeah, last year was kind of a fluke because it was the last game of the season. But
is it going to be a Thanksgiving game, you think?
I don't know.
Hayden Hutchinson, prime time against Aaron, Motor City Dan Campbell, all that.
That'd be awesome.
Does Thanksgiving get that type of priority? Haven't some of the games been kind of, are they
We've
stacked?
been playing the Bears the last couple of years.
So I think the reason why I think like the games kind of stink is because I guess the Lions are always in them.
Yeah.
So, no offense to the Lions, man.
They never have the primetime game either. The Lions, it's always
So it's
the
Cowboys.
11 a.m. Yeah.
The Lions season's always over by then.
The night game has been great.
No offense to the Lions. We want you guys to be great.
It's real.
But we live in reality and we apologize. And also, hey, how are the Red Wings doing in the NHL playoffs?
I thought hockey was over. I'm with AJ. I thought hockey was done.
Well, it is
For you.
for Detroit. That's the thing. It's been kind of the norm around here. Hockey doesn't last much longer than a regular season around here. This is Detroit.
I'm not going to say you guys played a good game. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. 2 games. Remember, 3 overtimes.
That's right.
3-period game. Do the math.
Should be up
Jesus.
2-0.
Why don't they make it 3-on-3 or 4-on-4?
That's what they did in regular season, right?
And
Yeah,
then
it's playoffs. They don't like doing that. They like keeping it pure.
Hey, we don't want any of these gimmicky bullshit to decide our playoffs. Not for Lord
I
Stanley's
mean,
Cup.
after the first overtime, just take the goalies out, maybe.
All right, and play crossbar.
Ooh.
I don't know.
If they were playing crossbar, then the Penguins had, 8 goals in the
Yeah, they
overtime?
Dude, who was the guy, lefty snipe? I mean, he topped Ched.
Gensel hit one. Rusty hit one.
We had that thing won 4 times.
Had
I mean,
it.
Igor Zhigowski.
Yeah,
I mean, he was good. He was standing on his head like 83
Good
saves.
goalie.
83 saves or something like that. Most saves in the history of NHL playoffs.
Yeah, 1 too short,
He was
though.
a few off the record, yeah.
Oh, he's a few off?
Yeah.
Who's got it? Luongo?
Probably the guy that's guessed on
I
the
think
thing.
Tim Thomas.
No, I think it's Tommy Barrasso.
Oh.
Let's talk about the international games, AJ. Those are 3 hockey players that nobody knows.
Tommy Barrasso, they know.
Hockey does terrible numbers on the internet for us.
Oh, yeah.
What?
A lot of people are sending us a message
way.
every time we talk about it. Yeah, the whole world is sending us.
Does hockey do great numbers on the internet somewhere else?
No, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the.
We need like the
baby.
basketball
Spit and
highlight.
Chicklets. Spit and
accounts.
Chicklets do good. Spit and Chicklets absolutely are trying to. They're bringing it in.
They had Wayne Gretzky.
Fucking Wayno.
Yeah, fucking Wayno.
Fucking Wayno on there.
Yeah.
Third greatest player of all time.
Fourth.
Well,
Fifth, maybe.
5th if you're counting Stoner.
Well, Bobby Orr's 1. We know
Phil
that.
Kessel.
No, that is not the case.
Yeah, it is.
Mario's number 1.
Gordie Howe's
yeah,
number
Mario's number 2, I think, in my
Gordie
ranking.
Howe invented hockey.
Well, see, he might have, but it got much better after he invented it. So,
He was skating against Plummer.
James Naismith invented hockey. So.
yeah, and Lord Stanley was right there with him,
Of course.
blessing him.
Yeah,
obviously.
Stanley Cup.
Sydney's 1, Mario's 2. I guess we'll put Wayno at 3.
That's
fair.
that is
That's fair.
absolutely absurd that you're not going to put Bobby Orr in there.
Well, listen, who cares?
Everybody. Bobby Orr is universally.
I'm not doing a top 5. All right,
Put
I'm
him
only
at
doing
number
a top
4.
3.
That's his number. Put him at number 4.
No, because that is
All right,
fucking
hey, way to
bullshit.
go. He's on the Mount Rushmore.
That's
He's on my
fucking
Mount
bullshit.
Rushmore.
No,
Bobby Orr's on my Mount Rushmore.
Nope. He's
Hey,
one.
actually, I'm spelling my Mount Rushmore O-R-R at the end.
Oh,
Instead of
okay.
O-R-E, because he's right there at the end. He's the 4th one. You know
Mount
what I mean?
Rushmore.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I don't know.
That's what I'm doing, yeah. That's how much respect I have for him.
Yeah.
I only do top 3 normally, and that's kind of fucked up to the Orr and Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Makes sense. You'd have Stoner at 5 there because it's going to be chiseled in stone.
I hate to say this about Stoner. Get on a real franchise. Bro.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah. Who
Can't
am I
do it.
kidding? I don't care.
What?
They didn't make the playoffs. They're
Yeah.
done. Their
Yeah,
fans
true.
are gone.
Yeah. Oh,
What about
who
the Kraken?
cares?
Kraken are dead.
Yeah, they're very bad.
The biggest story of the year was when that one coach got his life saved by the fan.
Oh, yeah.
The coach was standing there, equipment manager maybe? I don't know. He was on the bench, standing on the bench. He had something on his back of his neck or whatever, and the person sitting front row was a lady. She was a doctor, and she like wrote on her phone like, "Hey, you should get this checked out or something." And it was like cancer.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like something happened.
Yeah, Vancouver lady.
Thought you
Yeah.
were going to say a spider.
No.
That was a growth of some sort.
Yeah, melanoma or something.
Is that what it was?
I thought, yeah.
That's the big storyline of the Kraken's year. That and Marshawn was on the
Oh yeah,
On the
Zambone.
Zambone.
Should get your
And,
SPF on. It's almost summertime.
Giving Sean Kemp an extra small shirt.
There it is. That was
Yeah.
a big story.
Oh, they bullied Sean Kemp.
Big time.
Give him.
That was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, what size shirt does that guy need? He's 9 feet tall. How much? Does he
Exactly.
weigh?
Well, for the fucking debut of the team, get him a goddamn 10X if you
Yeah, or a goddamn
medium.
jersey. Can we get some tarps
Yeah.
for these guys? I mean, what the hell?
I don't know if they had them yet.
They didn't have any sweaters?
Probably not.
So that's a
had
part of the story
tarps.
then. They didn't have
They
sweaters
gave
at the end of the season.
they gave Joker a jersey in Colorado last night, and it came down to like his elbows.
Oh, so they're still trying to figure out the merch.
Okay.
NBA
Apparently
players.
that's the story of this. The Kraken, they're still trying to figure it. They'll get better. Hey, they'll get
Figure
better.
it out.
Jokic is 7'2", though. I mean, can we just get a goddamn extra long sleeves or
Hey,
something?
he's a dog though.
Give him
Huh?
Chara's jersey.
No.
He is
Hey,
no.
what makes him so good? I watched him. Like, if you watch him play, he's giant. He can play point guard, but he's not like crazy explosive or anything like that. He's just savvy and really good. Or what?
We should obviously hand this off to an NBA expert or somebody that at least watches. But for somebody that watched 4 games of his, the fact that he's that big, that fast, and able to do the things he does, I think is why he's so impressive. Because everybody automatically thinks of a big man. You think of a big man lumbering around and not really being that agile. The fact that he's making no-look passes and is kind of silky, I think is the reason why everybody's so impressed with him. But he's also a lot like Luka. Like, Luka
Yes.
doesn't look like
Yeah.
he's blowing by anybody. But all of a sudden, he'll get separation, and then it's just buckets, and then he's talking shit. I feel like the European style of basketball is much different, but awesome.
They're crafty and like they're nuanced, and they know how to use their body in ways that give them just a little bit of space so that they can get the shot off or pass off or whatever.
One of the first times I watched him was when he did that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who is this guy? What is he?
Well, and they're just lights out shooters though too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rim's bigger for them, it feels like. What's that all about?
Well,
The shots that they attempt are crazy.
The fades, I mean, Dirk, I think,
They make it look like it's easy. Like when we used to mess around and like hit fades in the driveway, like you know how tough it is, especially if you're doing like old school Jordan fades back in the day. Like you're fading back 10 feet.
Yeah, and they're doing step back NBA threes right now, like it's nothing almost.
They start young too. It's similar to soccer. Like I think Luka's been a pro since he's like 15. I think Jokic falls into that category too. Like they go to these teams and they play professional basketball for a long time, and then they go to the NBA and they're ready. There's a kid in the G League right now who. He joined at like 17 or 16. He was one of the kids that instead of going to the pros, he got like a G League contract, and now he's going to be eligible for the draft next year, and he's like tearing it up. And he'll only be 19 when he comes in.
I hate to break it to all those European high school professional basketball players. If Ja Morant was to go over there, you're fucking not getting the ball. No. That dude is so fun to watch. Now, granted, last night I was watching Young Rock. Great episode. And the Penguins. So I didn't get to watch the Grizzlies versus Golden State. And I was wrong for that. But I also don't like that everything was scheduled on the same night. Maybe we could deal with that. Maybe we could put Memphis and Golden State in a spot where nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
Because that is worthy of a watch, it feels like. Every single. I guess Steph has said, hey, this is going to be fun. Ja's talking his shit. I mean, I think Ja put up, 40-some last night?
Yeah, 47.
47 last night. And then he
He
got
was
his.
getting hurt with flagrants too.
Oh,
That guy.
he is a dog. I love this dude. He's the face of the NBA.
How do you
right
guard
now.
him? I don't know how do you guard him.
Well, they're sitting off about 10 feet and daring him to shoot threes, and he's making them right now. So it's
Yeah, he's like a gamer.
That's the
Yeah,
only
he's
chance you
very
have is hope he has an off night shooting from deep.
It feels like he has like that AI gamer, like, hey, I'm gonna try to kill you. But then he also has this insane bounce.
Yeah, he floats. Like there's one play last night where he like jumps basically in the paint and then is in the air long enough where Draymond Green jumps up, he falls down, and then Ja like adjusts and lays it in. It's ridiculous how high he can.
They're showing those videos of him doing leg exercises
Yeah.
like as in high school in South Carolina. Is that where he's from?
Yeah,
so-
him and Zion. That's what the real hope is as a whole, is that Zion just doesn't re-sign. Then he goes to Memphis, and then it's just Zion and Ja for the next 10 years.
Memphis is going to be so pumped. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? They get Ja and Zion. on
They're
the same-
all young too. Like Ja's obviously he's 22 or something like that, but like there are other players that are one of the guys that got ejected last night, Dylan Brooks, and then this other guy Desmond Bain. Like they're all young, under 25.
Hey, this is how you become a megastar, by the way. You just got to make the playoffs. Like what?
Yeah.
LeBron made playoffs for 20 years, so he's playing in the basketball that really only anybody watches. Like outside of the NBA world, this is the only basketball that gets watched by anybody, and it's always on primetime. This is when you become superstar, megastar. Not that. He's not going to become that anyways, but if you're on national TV, who gives a fuck what city you're in? If you're in Memphis, it does not matter. He's becoming a guy, and I think LeBron's on the beach right now. And he's probably enjoying this, I would assume.
LeBron's tweeting about him, right?
He's tweeting about everyone.
Oh, he's watching.
He's very tuned in.
The King's got his eye.
Yeah.
On the crowns.
This isn't Zero Dark 23 or
No,
whatever?
because he's not
in
in
the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. It's only playoff time.
Everyone's just hoping that, Ja Morant, Kevin Durant, and it's not Greg Oden and Zion, those guys that go number 2 turn out to be absolute superstars, and the guys that go number 1 who can't miss, they play 80 games in their career and they never play again.
Zion's back. Don't you worry about that. Let's get to a break. Jesus. That was unbelievable. What a rain on the NBA parade that was.
I know.
To his point, though, Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram were 1, too. And Brandon Ingram's awesome.
Ben Simmons was number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd Dame Dog go?
6, maybe 5.
Yeah, also
Dog.
great.
Dog.
Number. I mean, Giannis was 15. Kawhi was 15. Who was 6? Luka was 6.
Where'd Tyler Hansberg go?
Tyler
30,
Hansberg,
28,
20-something.
undrafted. Free
Dog.
agent.
No, he went to the Pacers. He was
he was
here.
first.
Yeah.
He had a parade. They had a parade for old Hansberg coming
I
this
think he was
year.
the end of the Pacers. I think when Hansborough came here, everyone was like, all right, they don't know what they're fucking doing. I
That's
think
not
so.
true.
I met him a
dude.
couple clubs. He's a nice guy.
Great
Nice
guy.
guy.
And hell of a college basketball player.
Pick 13.
Yeah.
13. There we
Pacers.
go. Lottery.
Pick.
Why are we picking a 13? What was going on with
Yeah.
the team?
Who
Probably
got
trouble.
picked after that?
Nobody.
Probably some very good guys.
Watch it. We don't need to do the whole Mitch Trubisky thing right now.
No, not at all. I love
not.
Hansborough.
That's your quarterback. Diggs almost felt obligated to defend the guy. And then Diggs realized he might not even be the starter this year, so I don't even know if I need to go to bat for him right now. I guess Trubisky and Kenny Pickett have been friends since like high school.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe Mitch hosted him on a visit. I don't know.
At UNC.
Yeah.
And they've kept in touch, I guess. So that's like
So is he going to mentor him?
Well, I guess he already has, is what everybody's saying. Like they've kept in touch. So they're all everybody's focused on a championship, is what Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett said.
That seems like it'll be a good little union. Let's see how will there be pressure to put Kenny in early though?
And then how will Mitchell handle that?
Yeah, Kenny
I
is the most
fear that
NFL ready.
Yinzers are not going to be nice.
Mitch has got to be lights out. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yinzer's get a bit antsy.
They get very antsy.
Even with Ben. Ben was there for 27 years.
Yeah.
And as soon as he started, throwing that ball a little quicker than they thought, like, oh, this guy's scared to get hit. This guy's scared to get hit. Hey, bow. And then the punter's coming on. Get this fucking retire, this guy.
Nailed it.
Retire. Then he throws a touchdown. That's the Ben I know.
He's fucking back.
Ben's back.
Fucking, I was with
One
him
more
all
year.
my things are out, so if anybody's speaking in the back, I do apologize.
Nick said 1 more year when Ben throws a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, he's coming back, by the way.
What?
I hope he's calling plays by week 4.
What if he is just so bored and then he's got that fucking little kick thing on? Oh, he's fucking calling it.
Ice pack on his elbow
Hey,
still.
listen up, Kenny. That's what I need from you. Mason Rudolph going to be competing for that backup role. They said.
Goddamn right.
As long as
Cut him.
yeah.
He's in Pittsburgh.
Cut him now.
They need to bring in the one, the only, the man who went to Pitt, the man who was an Oakland Raider, the man who knows Matt Canada's offense, ran Matt Canada's offense in college, the one, the only. Can't remember his name. I've been trying to.
Nathan
Peterman.
I thought you were going to say throws a very catchable ball.
Yeah.
Like you chose not to bear. You see the guy that had 6 picks?
Yeah,
In the
against the
first
Jags.
half, I think.
Yeah, 6 picks.
But he'd be a
Sud-
great backup. for him.
Sudfeld.
No, Sudfeld is.
Sudfeld's the fourth quarter quarterback that went in for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's number 1 now at the
And
Philly
then Kelsey
State Farm.
almost fought Peterson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he said, "Are you fucking throwing the game right now, putting this guy in? I just want to see what Doug said. I just want to see what he
Let's
has."
see what he can do.
Yeah. And then that screenshot, I think, was a little after that one.
Carson.
Uh-huh. And him and Jalen.
That's Sudfeld. Peterman was with Buffalo when he did that.
Yeah.
Then the Raiders. Gruden loved him. He threw, I think, 85 passes in preseason last year in 2 games.
Oh yeah, look out for Nathan Peterman.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
Be a
man.
great third string for the Steelers.
What's John Gruden
Rid of
doing?
Mason.
Well,
Was that just last year? So he just
Yes.
got pushed out this past camp, right? Or right
No,
before it?
during the season.
Yeah.
Not in camp.
middle is
Week 6 or
yeah.
something.
Middle is
Are
like-
you serious?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That feels like 3 years ago.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun, right,
That's
boys?
right. Hell yeah.
More of that on the other side of the break. We'll answer some phone calls, 1-833-4 McAfee. In the next hour, we have Ian Rappaport joining us, hopefully breaking some news. And also, he's going to talk about what he did there on draft day. Can't wait for
right.
that. We'll see you in 4. Bye.
this point. You came on the Pat McAfee Show, which is our boss and our friend, our daily YouTube show. And Pat presented an opportunity for you because I know, and he knows, and everybody knows, you've been trying to score a goal in the NHL for close to 20 years now. And Pat said he would donate a large sum of money if you were able to put one in net.
You're gonna clear like above everybody, right? And it's gonna be in straight line, so it's not easy. Yeah.
Hey, you get one this year? I'll give $100,000 to whatever foundation you want it to go to.
They'll get me trying every night. No, every time.
Yes. By the end of the season, unfortunately, you weren't able to make that happen. But I want to let you know the offer still stands. So from now till the end of your season, whenever that may be through the playoffs, if you're able to score a goal, I want to let you know that he's going to donate $150,000 to a charity of your choice. So no pressure or anything.
Okay, so shooting anymore, eh?
If you guys get a little bit of a lead, I just wanted to let you know.
Wait till the playoffs to do it, Mark.
Yeah.
Huh? Do it in the playoffs. Make it count.
Make it count for real. Yeah. Oh, jeez. That's good. I'll tell him thank you. That's very generous of him, and I'll try to get it done.
Hey, listen.
It's the whitest night.
He's sucking Bud Lights. What? Arms up, keg. What? Bud Light. What? Bud Light. What? Are you chugging that whole thing or what? No. Come on. You won. Not the whole thing. Not the whole thing. You won. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on May 4th. May the 4th be with you all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that coming out of the sword, the noise?
It's a lightsaber.
It's a lightsaber.
No, it's from the sword.
Lightsaber.
It is to be treated like a sword, though. I watched a couple highlight reels of people wielding this thing. There's some talented motherfuckers. There's a double-ended one of these, like an armadillo thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it was full. Bah, 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 bah.
The old doubleheader?
Yeah.
You give one of those things to like a LARPer, and they will absolutely dice people.
Slice you and dice you.
I've seen those in a couple movies, and I've happened upon a park where something was going down on the other side, and I've seen a lot of costumes.
Yeah, it looks sick.
Tony's seen a few of those.
Really? Do you go to furry conventions or?
I don't know. I assume there's something coming, but I don't.
LARP is sick.
Talking about two people using a doubleheader together, jamming it together.
Oh, I have this.
Is that what we're talking about?
No, we're talking about LARPing. Live action role play games, dude.
LARPing.
Role models.
Sorry, I don't know what that means.
You couldn't wait to get old double donger out of your mouth as soon as look at his face.
Yeah, double header, not double donger.
He's so proud of himself.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, believe me, yeah.
Oh,
will this thing break if it touches? Like if I put this down?
Try to hit it against the table.
Might cut a hole in the wall.
It looks like it's oh boy. Is the shaft the same glass as a one of those lights?
Fluorescent lights?
Yeah, fluorescent light.
How come there's no death matches on the internet?
That'd be sweet.
I bet you there is, right? There has to be.
People probably don't want to break them. Like especially when adults get really into Star Wars, they're scared to death to break anything. They want to save it all.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, why would you want to? That lightsaber has the power of 10,000 sons.
Yeah,
It does.
There is a video of two people fighting with the lightsabers in like a dorm courtyard, basically, and they're going hard.
All right.
Doing flips and shit.
Going hard. I mean, AJ's about to be a child with this all.
Yeah.
Shad Khan took a little bit of. What's that?
Who did? No, I was going to say quickly to end the Star Wars talk. Sometimes you see clips of like adults that don't have any kids that go to Disneyland or World 14 times a year and post videos of themselves like lightsabering with their buds.
It's sick.
You mean like Zito and Bill?
Creeps me out every once in a while.
That's not every Star Wars fan.
Yeah, jeez.
Come on.
There's not somebody in the office that does that. I hope for real.
No, but I would like you to not just generalize every Star Wars fan as that
No, I'm not.
person.
I'm saying the few that I've seen.
I'm
creep me out.
insulted.
Not all of them, but no, the few adults that are so into it without kids or whatever, and then more not Star Wars, more Disney World. People that go to Disney with no kids and they go 14, 15 times a month.
What do you think they're doing there?
Grooming? I don't know. What are
Come on. They're riding the Matterhorn, dude. Jesus.
Right, something. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, let's go to Shad Khan commenting about Urban Meyer's job with Fox at Awful Announcing, which covers all the things happening around the announcing world. Jags owner Shad Khan on potential Fox rehire of finger guns. How can you work with someone like that, says Shad Khan. Now, we have to cover this because this is a massive part of our storyline.
Has Fox hired him? Do we know this?
I think it was just it might have been just floated out there to see what the response would be, and then let the wave kind of crash. And then when they hire him, maybe it's just like, oh, everybody's already passed that. Something else happened. Maybe they're waiting for another massive thing to take place that they can kind of sneak in the middle of it. I don't know. We did not hear that quote from Shad Khan though, so we don't know if it's being taken out of context or not. We assume it's not. Shad Khan is probably asking that as a legit question. But Tone, you said you wanted to speak about this.
No. You had asked where it came from. It came from USA. He told USA Today that yesterday. And he said, I think when you know someone is not truthful, how can you be around someone? We had Doug Marrone here for years. We had Gus Bradley here for years. I have nothing but the utmost respect and friendship with them. That's why they got the time, because it wasn't a matter about respect or truth. It was a matter of wins and losses over 4 years. This is much bigger than that, because Urban said it was about wins and losses, and then Shad said no, it was not about wins and losses.
And remember, they were trying to. Urban basically told Shad, "You gotta. This is what I need to win, and I'll be the consultant for you to hire another head coach. Maybe I am the head coach you need. I need you to build an entire city down here. I need a whole new city, like 4 or 5 different buildings. I'm gonna need this. I'm gonna need this player. I'm gonna need that plane. I'm gonna need to do this." And Shad was like, "Thank God, man. I have all the money in the world. We just fucking lose. Like, we just get the number 1 pick more than anybody else. Somebody needs to come in here and just win for me. I'd be very, very thankful if that would take place. Okay, if this was bumpers, I'd be able to fucking run it. It's not bumpers. It's the NFL. I'm trying to find somebody to run it." Urban Meyer's like, I'm that guy. And then as it just unravels in a completely embarrassing way, I wonder at what point Shad got like furious about the relationship. Do you?
That's my question. When I hear Shad say this, my question was, when was the first time you felt like Urban was being untruthful or wasn't telling you the truth? Like, when was he lying to you? And I would imagine it wasn't at the very end with the whole finger gun situation in the dance floor.
Well, I got to go see my babies. That could have been. That could have been it. That could have been when Shad's like, this guy told me he had to go see his grandchildren. Like, he basically played with my emotions. Like, oh, I got to go be with my grandbabies. It's a long thing. And then this dude's clearly.
Hey, where did it go? Can you remind me?
That was not.
I don't want to cut you off. But where did it? So that happened. We know that was he stayed in Cincy or whatever.
Yeah.
That happened. Did it die down? How much longer was he there? And what was the final thing that pushed him out?
So then next he was getting laughed out of meeting rooms. Remember? Yep. Then he lied, and then
and
won.
The kicker said Lambo.
Lambo stuff.
Was that the last one, or was that
the final
after?
straw? I believe.
What a wild scene. What did Lambo say? He just walked up and just kicked him in the leg or something?
In like a sit-down interview explaining the whole entire situation. So it wasn't like something where maybe this is getting taken out of context. Lambo was like, yeah, I don't know. I've never been treated like this before in my entire playing career.
I wonder what Urban Meyer was. Urban Meyer probably has a completely different version of that story, I'd assume.
Yeah.
But it did feel like there was a lot of things, and the Lambo one happened to be the one that ended up being, we don't have to pay him $30 million because of this firing.
Fucking worked out Ohio State.
It says that he coached in 13 games, and since he was week 1, 2, 3, 4.
Man, what an awesome
So 9
weeks that had to have been.
He said it did die down though a little bit, didn't it?
He said, "Hey,
I
dipshit."
don't think on their show. Go ahead.
He said, "Hey, dipshit, make your fucking kicks."
And then kicked him?
Yeah.
Because they won pretty, like,
Was
close
it a playful
to it
kick,
after
or was he
London.
mad?
Well, see, that's the whole, like, Urban has his entire story, probably. Urban has his entire story. I know Lambeau.
It's on tape somewhere. It's got to be on tape somewhere.
I have respect for Lambeau. I've met him. He's a very talented kicker. He's in this particular case, though, just somebody walking up and kicking me, if it was something that made me upset, and I'm a kicker, I'm kicking right back. You know what I mean? There's a kick coming right back. Probably dick, if I had to guess. If I'm down stretching, probably going right to midsection thigh if it's like really
Maybe a punt. You'd probably be on a better level. Say he's taking a knee, doing like a lunge stretch. He kicks one of your legs. That's when you just throw that right, bam, right in the donger.
Lambeau said in the single donger, by the way. Well, we don't know actually. Who knows? But the Lambeau said he was so shocked that it all happened, and I can understand that as well. If I just got kicked by the head coach of the football team in a way that I thought was like aggressive, like he wanted to fight me, I guess I'd be a little standout. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, and that's what he was saying is that they had like no prior relationship, right? Like he called him kicker around the building and stuff like that. So it came out of nowhere. And then Urban, I mean, you know, Urban's an asshole. He probably played it off like he was joking. But if they don't have any prior relationship, like it is kind of surprising that Lambeau wouldn't be like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to kick this guy.
I hate this guy.
Yeah.
This is just like the guy that just got charged with assault with a weapon or something like that. Isaiah Lee, who attacked Dave Chappelle last night. You know, that's one of the only occasions where you can beat the fuck out of somebody and be the babyface in public. Like that guy, his arms backwards, and everybody's like, yeah, you fucking deserved it. Like you deserve it. That's one of those situations where you get kicked by the coach in an aggressive manner. Everybody sees it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to babyface. You're allowed to fight your
And everyone hates his guts already.
Yeah, you're allowed to be. It's an acceptable thing, I think, especially in the football culture. I think, AJ. I might be wrong, though.
Oh, if you did that, I mean, not only would that be talked about from players on that team all around the league, coaches, that would trickle down through coaches over the years. Like it would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy in here, but it ain't nothing like when that kicker punched Urban Meyer in the face. Yeah, it was a stretch. I was right next to it. I was with the defensive end at the time. I was with the D-line at the time. Specialists were stretching near there. Yeah, Urban came over. I didn't see him kick, but there was certainly something. And then as soon as I knew it, Josh Lambeau, I think his name was, fucking right in the suck hole of Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer cold. Dang.
Yeah, dropped him like a sack of potatoes.
And then everybody had to kind of fake it, man. That would be the story told forever. The interns, all the way through the assistant coaches, every player, it would be told forever and ever. You're 100% right.
I mean, stuff like that has happened, but not to that, like,
not a kicker
level.
knocking out the head coach.
Lambeau said,
that
he
hasn't
said,
happened.
"Don't ever fucking kick me again." And
like
then
that.
Urban said back to him, "I'll kick you whenever the fuck I want."
Was that playful banter though? I don't know.
Well, there's stories of him reaming out, who was it, the receivers coach too? And the receivers coach was like, what the hell? We're not doing anything wrong here. But he was just looking for someone to blame, basically.
That's awesome. I love it.
He's the standard now too. Like, hey, shit, it's bad around here, but it's
ain't
nowhere close to Urban Meyer and Jacksonville.
So is he working for Fox or not? Do we know?
Well, we don't know. We might be all
assuming no.
Yeah, why is he doing this? We would have never talked about this today had he not been getting it back in the Fox.
He should have disappeared for at least a year or two.
Probably not though. Fox said, hey, we'll pay you a couple mil at least to come back and work every Saturday. I think I would do it.
I love that Fox knows it. That guy can break down film on tape.
Yeah.
That guy can break down film on Saturday. He's good.
The headline was Urban Meyer poised to return to TV with Fox Sports. I feel like poised is like that's happening.
They're putting a little balloon out to see how the reaction is.
It's good. It's going good.
Yeah. Bring him in.
Despite some internal opposition.
Some internal opposition.
Fox Sports Management is pushing to bring back disgraced football coach Urban.
Oh, that's awesome because somebody had to in the building. I won't stand for it. Yeah. And that one person is the internal opposition, and then can always say, I wasn't. I knew it was going to end bad.
I was on record. That guy, our friend, shouldn't be doing that.
We should not be doing that. We said he should have taken a year or two off at least. Mm-hmm. Disappear from it a little bit, especially out in Hollywood. They all live out in Hollywood, you know?
Yeah.
So they all know the entire game. We said he should disappear a year, maybe two, but he said let's just go head first and let's travel around to college campuses.
Yeah. Just close my shop
live
house.
TV.
Yeah.
It's true. Hey, get out of the way then. Get out of the way, and then it'll all settle down.
That's right. People forget.
Definitely.
People definitely forget with the internet.
Bro, they're going to do a Michigan game because they got the Big Ten deal. They're going to go do a Michigan game because Michigan's back, obviously.
Yeah. See you later.
Oh,
See you later, Urban.
Just fans of this show alone, this program are going to get 1 million signs taken down.
No, not us. No, we do not endorse.
We don't. No, we don't.
Public bullying.
No. Nope.
I mean, it's all true, though. Hour 3's on the other side. Oh, I didn't get it. I tried to fit 5 words in 1 second there. That's a tough show.
Oh, no, because remember, it is the delayed game clock.
No, you've said that. I don't think it actually is.
No, I think because sometimes we hear it through the ear.
Talk about it.
Mad Dog was on First Take this morning.
Yeah.
What were they talking about?
A basketball.
They're talking
trading LeBron.
Talking ball.
JJ Redick is great on there.
James Harden too old.
Hey, JJ's really, really good on the TV.
I know. I watched a lot of JJ's podcast stuff.
Yeah, Old Man in 3. I like JJ.
Who's the guy? Who's the old man?
Yeah, of course.
I think he is the old man. And I think the 3 is like the shot.
Oh.
So it's like
So
I was trying to figure that out.
The old man in the 3.
All right.
I thought it was.
Let's get to a break.
Old guy and then 3 other
We did great. This next hour is going to be our best one yet.
Oh, yeah. Rap sheet.
I can feel it.
Hey, we got to ask him, what happened with the Corral thing? Why'd you just decide to unload on Matt Corral? What's that all about? Pick and choose.
And we have to ask to see if Jameson Williams is just never going to play for the Lions.
He does not look happy.
Can you put that photo up? Here's a guy that's pumped to be drafted.
Fox guys want to put it up.
Oh, a little delay.
You don't say.
I mean, that's just how he looks.
That's a dog right there.
By the way, probably.
Yeah.
Alabama,
Yeah.
very fast, great wide receiver. Can we zoom in on this or no? Can we zoom in on Aiden or no anymore?
I mean, if you can run a 4.1, you can look however you want.
Bottom right is like the most sad draft pick I've ever seen in my life.
No, they caught him in the middle right before a smile.
Dog.
Are these Detroit Lions actual photos they released?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. All right. This is the best ones I got. No, he didn't get
It was not smiling.
No.
He's not a smiler. He's a tough guy.
Hey, he said I won't smile until we win a fucking Super Bowl.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
He said the work is just beginning. Why is everybody taking this as a super negative? This is a positive.
Right.
I mean, Hutchinson being, grinning from ear to ear doesn't help either.
Well, he's back in Michigan. He's
Yeah,
Michigan
hometown
man.
boy.
He's happy about it. Exactly.
Listen, this dude is saying, I'll smile when we win. Okay, there's a lot of work to do. Remember, as soon as he got drafted, I think Darius Butler said live on a stream that did really good, too good almost, wildly good. What the flip good?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
As soon as he was drafted, he said, sorry for that,
Feel
dude.
bad for that guy.
Yeah. He used to win in his whole life.
Was there TJ Lang? TJ Lang came in there. Oh, fuck off. Darius Orlovsky had a little chime in. Darius was speaking the truth there. I mean, if you're the super fast guy for a long time,
What do you mean?
and you go up to Detroit and it's like, all right, it's going to be cold up here. It's the NFC
He's
North.
got golf throwing the ball.
I got to live in Detroit. But if you're a part of the team that turns around the Detroit Lions, you're going to be remembered forever in that city.
Andy, we traded up for him. We love this guy.
That's what MCDC is telling and Brad Holmes is telling every single one of them. Hey, you become the people that win here in Detroit. You will be loved forever here. And this city is a pretty powerful city. We were birthed by Pittsburgh, but we have a lot of metal and steel that we make great stuff in this city of Detroit right here.
And those players are probably saying, well, what about Baker Mayfield? Because he turned around that team that never won, and they hate him and ran him out of town.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't end like that. MCDC says, hey, we ain't going to do that. All right, we're back in 3 in hour 3. We'll see you then. Bye. The system crashed out. Only one camera is of use at this moment. For those that are watching at home, we apologize. This must be a Feel Good Friday.
I can't believe that the cameras aren't working on today of all days.
Yeah, well, I mean, if
This is the universe.
Oh, hey, pal. How you doing?
Gabagool. I need a nice cold Bud Light.
Oh, you're fucking out.
How's your fan? How's your fan? Maybe a couple whiskeys.
What?
Gabagool. 80,000 individual eyes that are looking at these eyes right now. What the fuck are you doing? 2 scotches. What? Are you kidding me? kill. What?
55, 56, 63. That's how many new wrinkles I'm going to bring to the office.
I get things done, Patty.
What?
He said I was on meth. I ain't ever done meth.
Dirty dressed up like Russell Wilson. Look at the bed. Margarita. What? He's Brett Michaels.
You're fucking out.
More ice cold Bud Light. What? More ice cold Bud Light. What? More ice cold Bud Light. What? What?
Ice cold.
Cheers.
Thanks everybody watching.
McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat
What the fuck are
McAfee
you
Show
doing?
starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show, Hour 3 on this May 4th, 2022. May the 4th be with you, AJ, and you, Connor.
And you, Pat.
And you, Todd.
And you, Pat.
And you, Tom.
You, Pat.
And everybody watching right
Hell
now.
yeah.
AJ Hawk to my left, Centerville High School legend, who once had, actually 2 times, he had 41 tackles in a high school football game.
Jesus.
Is that accurate?
That is not accurate, no. I don't know if offenses run 41 plays in a high school game.
But hold on, it was on a thing, wasn't it? Didn't we see that on a thing?
on a plaque. It's on the website.
There's no plaque. It was probably 31 you read.
Oh, sorry about that.
So you
this
remember.
man 2 times had 31 tackles in 2 high school games. He's not even sure if they run 10 more plays that he didn't make tackles in. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
That's why he won a college football national championship.
What time's Rap Sheet on?
You don't need to know.
16 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, all right, good. Now I know. Nobody tells me, because if not, I'm sitting here talking, and then all of a sudden I'm watching you as Rap Sheet is in your ear, and you need to go to him.
Do you think maybe that when you don't answer FaceTimes or calls like you're impossible to get a hold of, that is when all this information is being
Did
delivered?
I get one this morning?
Oh, this guy.
I FaceTimed you, didn't answer.
That baby Goop.
Really?
Thank you, Goop. Was going to give a heads up.
I'll show you my call log, Goop.
Oh, you
Go
can
ahead.
delete those.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to delete at least a couple. In
Yeah,
the call
because you
log.
called him too?
Like
No,
27
because-
DMs
Sure, a
unanswered
couple
on
people
Instagram.
Guy that owns
Just calling me
Microsoft.
Connor.
The people who make him look like that are probably calling him. Like, hey, I know you're running low on HGH and child blood, so your shipment's coming in a little late this week.
Holy shit.
Need my adrenochrome refill, right, Connor?
Bingo.
What
See?
the fuck?
He knows the name for it. I
His
don't.
What the hell is that?
His one friend
Yeah.
did look quite uncomfortable in an interview recently when he was asked about being a friend of another guy that owned an island. So
Jeez Louise.
AJ, tough week for you, huh?
Did not start the 6 a.m. wake up this morning and go work out.
You don't. Honestly, it's not like you don't.
didn't
If
do
you
it.
don't have to, don't do it. I do it because it's the only time I can be uninterrupted.
He and I had a conversation last night about it, because I'm just trying to get in the headspace of somebody that's able to do it every single morning.
Sure.
This morning I set the alarm. I did set it.
Yeah.
I hit stop so quick on that thing.
Wow.
Turned that phone right back over, and then literally did the whole movie scene of roll the opposite direction and shut my eyes again. I'm fucking soft. I can't do it.
No,
anymore.
no, that happens to anybody. Though.
overtime.
If you go to bed,
Night.
if it's an option, that's going to happen in that moment. So it's just got to go to bed, and it's not an option.
You're right. Triple overtime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Triple overtime.
After the Pens lose to the Bees in the conference final, then you can start setting the alarm for
Hey,
6
can you
a.m.
give me that motivational speech you just gave right there? You said it's not an option.
Yeah, if you're like, all right, I'm going to set my alarm for 5:30. I hope to wake up. Guess what? That's not happening.
You just gave a motivational speech.
Whoa.
Wow.
I've been watching those morning talks with Gary V that Connor talks about.
I've been listening to Gary B recently.
Gary B.
Gary B.
Gary B.
Who's that?
Gary Brackett.
Now that I can get behind.
Stud.
Former. You can get behind Gary V as well, but Gary B is making his name for himself in the whole entire game. He's been. I've been reading his motivational speeches. I'm trying to wake up though. I'm trying my best to be. That's what I want to do for this trip around the sun. I would like to be the most healthy I've ever been. And I got people sending me tweets and stuff like, "Hey, I'm gonna do it alongside you." And I'm like, "Well, I hate to break it to you, we have fucked up the first 48 hours pretty bad."
If you want to do if you're worried about doing cardio, you could do that when you come in the office. Put a couple of them right out there by the your little kitchen area, and while you guys are going over the show, just jump on there, hit some kind of cardio like throughout the morning.
So at the Thunderdome, we have a gym coming in.
Yes, that is perfect.
I feel like that's going to motivate me to do it, but I got a bad feeling that's going to become storage.
No.
We got plenty of storage.
We got a lot of storage.
Bad feeling.
No,
We got a lot of storage.
That's when we all jump in.
That weight room.
Can I develop? Can I design the weight room there?
Yes.
Let me have some.
That'd be awesome.
We actually need you to do that because we're just going to get a bunch of tonals, and I got one at the house, and it fucking doesn't work. So, like,
Let me talk to. I got buddies in strength coach buddies around the league that's what they do. They set up like professional sports leagues weight room.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes.
I need a layout of it. Send me the room.
Schlegs?
I'll send you the room.
Schlegs absolutely is one of them, but yeah, there's a lot of them.
Make sure that it can't easily become like a bunch of hangers.
Yeah. Right,
and-
yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
want your rack? Aren't you putting that power rack in there?
Yeah, for sure. If I'm gonna hang clean, if I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna hang clean. So that means yes, the rack's gonna be there.
Sweet.
That'll have T-shirts and sweatshirts all over.
Send me the blueprints or something. Send me the file, and I want to honestly lay that out.
Okay, we'd be very thankful.
It's the most
And we need
motivated
a-
he's ever been.
Thanks
This
for
is
getting
awesome.
involved, AJ.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Is this
I
like
can
your
hang
dream?
multiple pull-up bars from the ceiling too throughout the whole.
No,
just
not
hit
those.
I can just hit 6 pull-ups, boom, where I'm walking down the hall.
You're bringing an umbrella right now. So let's
Okay,
continue to keep
you're
this
right.
thing going here. Is this your dream? Like your wife is what? One of the top interior designers
Yeah.
on earth.
Yep.
Are you like one of the top gym designers on earth and we just didn't know this? Is this your dream come true? Is this bucket list right now for Mr. Hawk?
I'm not, but I've done this multiple times. I've been a part of it, and I'm not good with
guy.
numbers. You know that numbers do not compute in my brain. There's nothing going on when it comes to any math in my
31
head.
tackles,
So
2 times.
they'll lay it out, and they can do it to scale. Like, hey, this treadmill here, this machine here, and I think that's awesome. I'm not into that detail, but I am into the person. Like, I like picking out what equipment you're going to have, where the kettlebells go, where we're going to add little things. Like, I'm more of the creative side.
Are you going to put together a whole program?
Yes, that's what we need.
What do you mean, like a workout program?
Yes.
No, I despise working people out.
AJ,
come
no,
on.
just
Come
like
on.
a day-by-day exercise. We
You
should
just
be
have
lifting.
to put, no, don't, it's not for us, by the way. Just put your workout.
There you go.
And we'll put it, we're going to have like,
My workout is ever changing. I go with the flow, however I'm feeling
Okay.
that day. Is what I do.
just like your meal is. Oh,
Yeah.
whatever I
Whatever
want.
I
I do whatever I
want.
want. You're a fucking
Exactly.
robot in there. You go in there and do the same goddamn thing every single day. We know it.
Yeah, but I don't like there's no like I have a plan on what body parts I'm doing that day maybe, but nothing is set in stone. Absolutely not.
All right, cool. Well, thank you for designing our gym. Is there a fee for this?
No. Free of charge.
I mean, it's not going to happen.
I
Don't
think
worry.
the only fee is you have to
Why
name
isn't it
that-
going to happen?
You have to name that area after AJ.
Well, you know what?
Hawk.
I'll tell Phil. Phil will send me this.
Call it the Hawk House.
Yeah.
Bingo. There it is.
The Hawk House.
In the Thunderdome. I'm headed into the Hawk House right now.
Yeah, they'll make a logo. Dirty will probably make a logo
Yes.
for the Hawk House right now.
Need it.
The
Take
Hawk
flight.
House is the name of the gym.
Yes.
I might have to grow my head back.
Oh, she hates jokes. Oh, that's awesome. This show's got it all. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you,
Hey, baby, AJ. Thank you,
We need to
AJ.
get a dip bar in there too.
Yes.
Well, when I dip, you dip, we dip. I put my hand up on your hip. When I dip, you dip, we dip. Build up those
Dips
triceps.
are great. I got away from dips for a long time with my torn pec. I can do them again. So
Cope or
I like
skull?
dips.
Well,
Straight.
when you're pooping, in the shower, on a road trip every single hour, watching movies after dinner, crushing beers, chewing cope, I'm a winner. Copenhagen, I'd assume, is who AJ Hawk likes. Is that the dip you're talking
Who's
about?
dumping in the shower?
Well,
People.
when you're pooping,
When you're-
in the shower.
Oh,
on
okay,
a
good.
road
Thank you. I
trip.
don't want someone mushing it down the drain.
So this song's called like 10,000 Reasons to Cope or something like that by the Copenhagens, which is a band out of our high school.
Nice.
Yeah.
They
Love Jaws.
They thoroughly enjoyed Cope. And a bunch of baseball guys, I think, if I do recall. They're older than us, but they had performances, live performances. And,
Damn.
Yeah, they're big guys. We would not recommend it to anybody, the Copenhagen, but definitely the Copenhagens. Definitely recommend them.
Mm-hmm. Dogs.
Is that the dip you're referring to, Cope?
That is not the dip I'm referring to.
Let's go to Pepe in Mexico. On the 5 Energy phone line, the international games have been announced. There's a game in England, a game in Mexico City, a game in Munich throughout the entire season. It's going to be a glorious thing. Pepe in Mexico. Aquí estamos, mi amigo.
Órale, cabrones.
Still got it.
Hey, boys, don't give me the fucking Jaguars on an international game. Let's get the Chappelle Show going. What about if people are paying for AJ Hawk to tackle people? Get me McAfee to be doing a comedy show or the show live and have me tackle just like he did to the Denver poor guy that he kicked off to.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, Pepe.
He's going to lay AJ out.
Pepe's pumped that the NFL is coming back to Mexico. We talked about this in the first hour, AJ. I'm not sure if you were here for it or second hour. Whenever the NFL goes international, I was very lucky to be a part of one of those games. Did you ever go over? No.
Nope.
So I was lucky. Have they ever brought you over there just to go do like any media or anything the weekend of the international games?
No, I was going to do something where I would be there for a few months with BBC or whoever. Yeah, Sky Sports, yeah.
Yeah, because who else was doing that? Defensive end from
Cliff Averill.
Detroit to Seattle. Yes, there
OC was too, from the Giants.
So they do Sky. So I was very lucky to be in that game. Everybody hated that game. It was not great or conducive to anybody's schedule or convenience or anything like that. I don't think it's necessarily something that's beloved by coaches or players, but it's great for the league, great for the game. Getting a chance to be there and experience it, like, they shut down the whole city for the entire fucking weekend. Like, the NFL should be sending ex-players, not just from the teams that are playing, but, like, legends should be over there doing, TED Talks or something like that. Because
Mangold's there. Mangold's the big promoter of that. I don't know who he does it through, but he just got back, I think.
So, but I'm talking about during the weekend of these games. Like,
oh, they don't do that? I assume they did.
I don't think they do, because exactly. I assumed that they would too, but then we started, like, racking our brains. It's like, have we heard of anything because they have a full parade over there, and it's just NFL fans and American sports fans from all the different countries that are near coming up to that city. And I think the downtown club business does very well. Like, I think they do very well with all the NFL fans, and the pubs do it. But the NFL should almost lean into that. Like, I'm thinking we should definitely go to one of these places and do a show like the night before in a theater or something like that.
Yes, that would be awesome. I mean, especially I didn't know all that surrounds the game with like a parade, and like you say, it all kind of shuts down for the weekend. That had to be, even though you say it was inconvenient and all that, it had to be a cool experience though, right?
It was cool. I mean, I'd played soccer over there before, I think, so like I had experienced Europe as a place. I was much older now, different perspective, so it was cool to kind of get that and learn that, walk through the town, the village we were near, go to a couple stores. But I think for the guys, getting a chance to see a culture that's much different than their own, guys that would probably never take a trip to England or a vacation trip to London, I think it was awesome for them to see and experience. But the game and the practicing and the travel and the catching up to the sleep, I mean, it was just the week afterwards in the middle of the season, and we lost to the Jags. So if we win, maybe we have a different entire vibe about it, but it was not like a super positive thing talked about. I don't think it was talked about ever again after it happened. I think it was just like, let's just move along here. But I think it's good for the NFL, AJ.
It's great. And what did Jim Irsay said? Like, he thinks we should already have a team over there. So I would imagine the other owners believe similar.
I would like it to go on the record, maybe on the ticker, that the only reason we don't have a team in London already is because the fucking Concorde planes stopped working.
Mm-hmm. Why haven't they kicked those back up again?
So Ty told me off air, I guess there were some pretty gnarly explosions that happened.
Yeah, there were like two of them where like 75 or more people died on both the flights. Just, I don't know. I mean, if it was like user error, but I think it was like at the kind of in the infancy of it, and they had like two really, really bad crashes.
Because that 3-hour trip from New York to London is a game changer. That's much differently than 6.5, 7 hours from New York, let alone from anywhere.
Let's put Elon on this.
Well, Elon's got to run Twitter and do the Met Gala bald red carpet.
That's right.
And also flying cars.
Right.
Yeah, the future is in my hand. I don't want a phone. I'm not from that generation. I'm not going to spend 14 hours on a phone. Give me a flying car. Jim was awesome, dude.
I loved it.
It was awesome.
He's been set. How long do you think he's been waiting for this flying car?
He was told
60 years.
Bro, he was told 20 years ago, it's right around the corner. Like, hey, you see what we got going on? We got this taking place. You see what they're doing with computers already? Flying cars right around the corner. And Elon's like, here's a fire flamethrower. Here's a flamethrower. And he's like, yeah, fucking Elon, get to the cars already. Get to the cars. Him talking about the Amazon making $400 billion and them only making $22 billion. I think that is something that's talked about in that one per club meeting. I think that is something that's chatted about. Him talking about expansion taking a long time and the, how it all works with getting to the moon and then getting to Mars, how things take an entire team and incremental steps. I think that was something that has been chatted about with them getting to Europe. I also think a game would do very well in Australia. Now that would be very inconvenient for all parties because that's like a 31-hour trip. But Australia would probably fill up a stadium, I think. I think Australia would do that.
I think most places would. What would not be a good spot for the NFL to go?
I think Russia right now would be tough.
Yeah, Russia.
Yeah.
North Korea would probably be a problem.
Yeah.
I even think China.
Yeah, I don't
would be a
know if we're
problem.
going to be going to China for a game.
NBA stopped doing that.
So there's a couple places. I guess.
Couple.
India would be sweet.
Qatar's open.
That'd
Well,
be
they got
tough.
stadiums now.
Yeah.
They got stadiums
Play
now.
indoors, maybe.
They got stadiums now.
When the league goes to 18 games and there's 2 bye weeks, do you think that might actually open the door? Because if you go early, you can use one of those bye weeks and you're not like wasting it too early because you can do one later as well.
I'm excited to see how they grow Europe because they're going to, a lot of telling things there from Jim. Sounds like the issue is the travel, the logistics of it. So look for the NFL to invest in new planes, just as a complete commercial option that is always hubbed by the NFL teams as well.
Well, we were talking about it, like logistically, the way you would set up a schedule too. Like, would that ever work with a team from London? Like, I feel like there'd always be some sort of disadvantage.
So there definitely would be a disadvantage. You would have to set up a home base where you would have tryouts and workouts and a lot of people here in the States because if anybody gets hurt, you got to be able to get them. Would you do 8 to 9 home games at a time, then come back stateside and be based basically in New York and have all away games? Because that fucking stinks too. That's not good either.
Maybe 3 or 4 at a time. I don't know.
Seattle Seahawks have to travel 9.5 hours to get to Germany for their game or whatever.
Okay.
Like that's a long time to travel.
Seattle's flying probably. They're putting on more miles than anybody, aren't they?
Yes.
Well, do they go left too?
They go up over.
So they would go, oh, really?
Or Canada?
I was thinking, because if they go across America, is it
Japan?
honestly shorter to go around?
I don't know. When we flew, we went up and back down because I guess, the Earth.
Oh, yes.
Has a little bit. It's actually a little bit longer to travel this way as opposed to maybe taking a north trip and cutting off a little bit of the Earth that you have to fly. I think is how we traveled over there.
Yeah.
I'd assume Seattle would probably do the similar. I don't know. No, they're not going left. Left is a long way.
They're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Left is Australia in that, right? What are you're saying they're going left?
No. They are going
Up. Yeah, they're going up,
Over Greenland?
yeah,
we'll send it.
and then come back down.
Yeah.
Why aren't we playing in Canada?
Because it sucks.
Whoa.
It opened up yet, is it?
They did last year, right? It was a short field, 80-yard field. Was that Canada?
That was Aaron.
Preseason game.
Preseason.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And he
They wouldn't let Aaron in the country
He
now,
wore the
probably.
jean jacket.
Last year,
What?
definitely
You
not.
got to be fully vaxxed and boosted to get in there, don't you?
Last year, definitely not.
Yeah, it's a problem with the MLB. The
Yeah.
the Red Sox drove a bus back across the border and then flew home to Boston when they went up to Toronto.
Because they couldn't fly up
Because you
there?
have to have a negative test to go back and forth, and it's an absolute nightmare. Players would have got stuck in Canada.
Yeah.
This is still happening?
Oh yeah, you can't play in Toronto if you're not vaccinated in the MLB.
I thought we were past. Did we not beat it?
Same
I mean,
with the
Fauci
NHL.
said it.
So this is all for
Same
player
thing.
safety, though, right?
Yeah, it's for the safety of the players and the fans and the world.
That's tough in the NHL, too. Hopefully everyone's good to go. But
Pretty
if
much
the
everyone in the
Maple
league
Leafs-
was vaccinated except for 1 or 2 guys in the Red Wings.
Of course.
Closest to Canada. What are you going to do? That's amazing. All right, let's get to a break. Ian Rapport will join us on the other side. Let's get to a break. We'll get Ian Rapport on the other side. Lots to talk about with him as we wrap up Hour 3 here. What's going on in the NFL? When's expansion happening to England?
Come on.
How many games are going to Germany next year after this year's a smashing success? And also, why'd you do that, Matt Corral? All right, we're back and forth with Ian Rappaport. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
You know, it's just like I'm frustrated with flying cars because I'm obsessed with that. Like, I want a flying car.
Me too.
What I got is my phone instead. It's like, well, the future is on your phone really right now. It's not like literally in front of you. You can't get into a flying car, but you know, your phone has it all. It's like, I don't want this phone. I'm not going to have this phone 14 hours a day like you young people do. No, thank you. Like, I'm not from that generation. Like, you know, give me a flying car. You know? and honestly, when we shut down the Mars missions, you know, we were supposed to be going in 2024, and we shut it down. But a lot of people don't realize is, you know, from here to the moon is 208,000 miles roughly. You know, 200. So you can think about that. Well, in this country, you know, a long road trip could be 4,000 miles, and you know how far it is to Australia. You know, so 200,000 miles. You know, that you think about that, and, you know, that's far. But like Mars, think about this, is 250 million miles. 250 million miles. So, you know, that's a little different thing because, you know, when you go, you know, it takes about anywhere from, you know, 9 to 11 months to get there, depending on the alignment.
Are you going to fucking Mars?
And so,
Jim, are you going to Mars? It sounds like you're...
I wish I was. You know, maybe you'll have, I think you have a chance to do a show from there when you're 80, Pat.
The Jacksonville Duval Jaguars are dead. And I think that is something that is a shame. But we should at least have a moment of silence, I guess, for the Urban Meyer-led Jacksonville Jaguar squad. He chose one time not to fly back home with the team after a loss. Said, I gotta see the grandbabies. That's right. The only babies he saw were those young ladies at the shop house that week. Couple players, devil. He had to answer a lot of questions about that, but then he got back on track and started coaching football.
Oh, yeah.
Forget about the fingers. And they won. They won a game in London. How'd they win? It's because they forgot about the fingers. That's right. And then they came back to America. And they lose. And they lose. And they lose. And they lose. And anonymous sources say, this guy fucking stinks. He's laughed out of meeting rooms. Everybody wants to smack him in the mouth.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
Have a little mirror therapy, pal.
A little bit.
You stink.
You guys ever get yourself one of these? I didn't think so, you losers.
Hey, this one from high school. This one from college. And this one right here, middle fingers open for the NFL. If any of you would stop fucking me over.
Goddamn right.
That's what we're trying to get. Hey, you, defensive coordinator.
What's that?
You got any of these?
No, I don't. I don't.
That's why I thought you're a fucking loser.
I'm sorry.
You need to stop by the job. Anyways, they're dead. Hey, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. All men want to feel confident in the sack. Ain't that right?
That's exactly right.
But did you know that 52% of men will experience ED at some point? That's erectile dysfunction, AJ.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, it means the blood isn't flowing properly to your baby maker. More men experience ED than don't, and a lot of guys out there let erectile dysfunction get in the way of their big moment in the sack.
Damn.
If this sounds like something you've dealt with, you can take care of it with their help from today's sponsor, Roman.
Yeah.
The whole process is very straightforward, discreet. Nobody will know, and will help you make sure you're ready for the occasion. So get Roman ready and go to GetRoman.com/Pat, where you'll get $15 off your first month of ED treatment plus free 2-day shipping. Take advantage of this special discount and get $15 off your first month of good times in the bedroom.
Hell yeah.
We're talking Louisville Sluggers.
Yeah. Lightsabers.
Not sure it'll grow, but it will go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's what we're talking about here, AJ.
You mean it'll get rock hard?
You got it.
Yeah, dude.
Nailed it.
I would assume it has to grow when that process happens, though, right?
Well, some people growers, not showers. I'm just talking about whatever your standard length was when you were at one point hard. I don't think it's like, hey, this is a booster. Like, I don't think this is like a mushroom from Mario. I think this is just, it gets harder than what it normally is.
No length, just girth added. Okay, noted.
Well, I don't know if girth. I think just more air. More air, like a little bit more.
And juiced up.
A little bit more juice.
Good to know.
Like a
Thank you,
dog pump.
Roman.
Hey, thank you, Roman.
Thank you, Roman.
Joining us now is a man who knows all things happening around the NFL. Senior NFL insider at the NFL Network, NFL.com, and the league as a whole. Host of the weekly wrap-up with Rap Sheet and Friends, us being the friends, he being Rap Sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport. What's up, dude?
I was wondering what your transition was going to be, but I thought just doing a clean break from the promo into me, I thought that was probably what was best for all parties.
Well, thank you. That's good hosting. You know, I've been watching other hosts on how they transition from one subject to another because I can't do it. It's hard for me to move to the next thing. It's like, I think we should continue to talk about this. But people literally just stop what they're saying, almost like turn their head and just go directly into something new with zero transition, zero anything at all. And these people are like very highly paid hosts. And I'm like, is that what I'm supposed to do? Are they taught that in journalism school? Is that what I missed out on? I'm wondering.
No, I feel like you've really found a good sweet spot between generally ignoring what was being talked about before and moving on and making like a somewhat sarcastic but generally comical transition to go from one to the other. It's a really good sweet spot. I feel like you found it.
Thank you. That's good judgment from a man who did some judging of his own during the draft.
That's
okay.
right.
You said something very nice about me right there, and I thank you for it, especially with that Columbia hat. You just look smart.
Wow.
You just look smart.
Ivy League.
You just look smart. Hey, what happened with the Matt Corral thing? Why did you think that was needed to be said, you think? Did you feel like that was a vital piece of information on why Matt Corral went where he was at? And I know that you've seen the internet's reaction to that. You had to have, right?
I did.
He's a human, you know? That's the biggest day of his life.
Yeah.
I think that's
Understood.
what a lot of people are thinking. What were your thoughts in it?
All right, good question. And this is one that I got a lot, and some people were very angry. A lot of Ole Miss people were very angry. And it's, you know, not on the subject of Matt Corral, but anytime I mention Ole Miss, my wife went to Mississippi State, which is a rival, and it probably seems to 90% of your audience like that's really dumb. But in the South, they take it very seriously. So I actually texted my wife, like, hey, I said some stuff about Matt Corral, so, like, you may get some comments from Ole Miss people, because, like, there are some people who think that I report a certain way based on where my wife went to school, which is obviously ridiculous. But I'm just
Ian,
saying,
what did you
like,
say about him?
Okay, so when Matt Corral went in the third round instead of the first round, you know, one of the biggest questions and one of my biggest roles during the draft is like, why did a guy fall, right? So when N'Kobe D was falling, the producer gets in my ear and they're like, hey, can you explain this? Like, yes, I can. He had some injuries. Some people thought he needs shoulder surgery. He thinks he doesn't. Hopefully that's the case, but that's why teams viewed the risk as what it was, and that's why he fell. With Matt Corral, it was a lot of the off-the-field issues they had dealt with from high school, right? And so when teams were evaluating Corral, what I said in this report right after he was drafted, so something that, and I don't know if this matters, but I don't love to report this stuff before a guy gets drafted because I worry that the media, unless it has to come out, unless it's literally like hard news, like, you know, a guy broke his arm, like that's going to, you know, unless it's like that, this is more background information. So I waited till after the draft and I discussed how the Panthers thought he had the best film, which is true, what kind of a prospect he was, which was a good one. And then I went into the other stuff, which was the off the field. And it's what I did was discuss all of the stuff that Matt Corral had discussed publicly. So it was him leaving high school, whether he was kicked out or not, based on a fight with Wayne Gretzky's son. I talked about what Corral had said publicly, which is his battles with alcoholism and other. He had battled depression, which, you know, I think was probably something that most people had questions about, but this is something that he had been very proactive about and had addressed it publicly. So when he's talked about it in various articles, I felt like he's upfront about it. It's okay for me to be upfront about it. And I detailed all the reasons that he had fallen, all information that teams had. And
it was the delivery, though, wasn't it?
Publicly.
Hey, it was the delivery, though. Don't you think? Like, don't you think that's something that people would expect you, especially because you are the people's insider, basically, to feather that a little bit more, even though it is known information? Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point, and I tried to do that. You know, you want it to be balanced, right? So I tried to say he was a great prospect. The Panthers loved his film. I talked about how he had addressed it publicly, and I laid out the issues.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I did a good enough job of, you know, was I empathetic enough in discussing it? I don't know. I've watched it back a lot.
But you didn't mean to bury him, though. Like, right? That wasn't your intent. You were just literally trying to lay out why people had question marks, and these are things that he had said in the past. Because I think with how matter-of-factly that you delivered it, because you are, when you're on TV, like, and I didn't even know about your wife being a boo dog. I didn't know that was the case. And by the way, that certainly does, in my eyes, I mean, it didn't sway me away from being like, oh, Ian took some shots at this guy. But I mean, nonetheless here, I think that is why. It was just the delivery was the thing as opposed to in the timing of it all. But that's real shit, though, that people had to actually think about, you know? And he's also a symbol of somebody that has battled through stuff and has made it, so it could have been a little bit. I think that is why people have questions about it.
I would agree with that. And, you know, I always, when I'm on, let's say, like NFL Now or our afternoon show, I got a lot of time. I can say whatever I want. The draft is a little different because it's fast. Like, if you go back and look, which I would never do this, but go back and look at all the different hits I did, they're all about 20 seconds. Because
very quick.
Very quick. And so for me, it was like I had to get a lot of information in a short period of time. I wanted to make sure to give the whole picture because people are going to say, why did this very talented player fall? I needed to tell them. And so, yeah, I mean, I wondered if I said it too fast, if I wasn't empathetic enough, because if Matt Corral succeeds, he will be a fantastic symbol of overcoming a lot. If he doesn't, if this stuff catches up to him and he was what he was in college and
that won't happen. He's growing. He's growing. He's growing.
I hope you are right.
Yeah.
And I think but that's why he went where he went, because if he's great, then look, he's the Panthers starting quarterback for 10 years. If he's not, it's not as much a risk because he went in the third round. But it's my job, I think, to explain all of that.
You think that's why they're out? Are they still in the veteran quarterback market, or do they feel very good about the guy that they got, you think?
I don't think they're in it right now. I think there is a possibility. Let's say they get through OTAs and mini camp or maybe even training camp, and let's say Sam Darnold is in...
they're in what, phase 2 right now of OTAs, everybody?
Yeah, they're in phase 2 for, I think, a couple more weeks, or should be soon, actually. Then OTAs... and then mini OTAs for like 3 weeks, then mini camp.
On the field, offense is only allowed on the field with offense. Defense is only allowed on the field with defense. Special teams only allowed on the field with special teams. That's phase 2. It's like the first rollout onto the field. Yeah. Okay.
The first like kind of actual real football, basically.
Yes, but okay.
But not. I know. But
yeah. Got it. Yeah.
Fake. Yeah. Which is why when a guy shows up or doesn't show up, I'm always like, I get it, but he's not missing very much. Anyway. I think if Sam Darnold isn't picking this up well, if they don't like what they see, if by training camp they're like, okay, this is not our starting quarterback, perhaps they go back in the Baker Mayfield or by that point Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think they're open to it, but not searching as of now.
Okay, so my last question before AJ and the boys have some other ones around the NFL about some outstanding things since you've joined us. And by the way, I hope Matt Corral doesn't hate you for what you did, but I'm assuming that his friends and family do.
I mean, look, but if he does, that is okay. I hope he does it. Seems nice. If he does, that's okay, because there are people who don't like me because of what I report. Even if it's true, it's just negative and they don't like it. I will never win over those people. But like my job, as we talked about, is to sort of serve, for lack of a better, it's a bad word, but you kind of know what I mean, to be for all people who are wondering, like, why did this guy fall? I have to explain. And so I'm sure Matt Corral was like, can this guy just shut up? But that's sort of unfortunately my job sometimes.
Hey, you do serve the NFL audience very well, by the way, and we appreciate you. But we did see you get caught up in it. And as I was listening to you say it, by the way, I was like, oh, shit, rap. Okay, here we go. But I learned a lot about Corral, who we once thought were going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler because of everything you said, by the way. We thought he'd be a perfect Steeler. So
he was in the mix there.
He was. Here we go. He was in the mix there.
Like, I think I don't know what they would have done in the end, but if Pickett was gone, he was one of the small group of guys they would have considered.
Interesting. Okay.
In the first round.
Okay, and maybe we'll get some more draft details from the boys' questions for you, and we appreciate you joining us. I want to talk about the international business of the NFL. The schedule was released today. A couple games in England. We're in Germany. We're in Mexico City. It's throughout the season. This is the first trip to Germany, obviously. This is a massive ordeal because the fan base over there, hey, for us, the fan base in Germany, big. And I think it's strictly because we're an NFL show, and I assume the fan base for the NFL in Germany, massive as well. A lot of military there. I think they love the sport over there. Obviously, Bjorn Werner, incredible ping pong player. Not good enough, but he's a good ping pong player.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay. He's okay. Everybody in Germany, I think, grows up with a ping pong table at their house. I think. Not 100% sure.
Did he beat? This is not what you asked. Did he beat you?
One time. Wow. It was pretty embarrassing, though. He fucking smoked me. He was very, very good. Actually had to buy a ping pong machine because of Bjorn Werner. Yeah, it was like that. That was pretty.
You had to go to school. I like it. That's better than being like crying by yourself. You're like, I'm going to try to beat this guy.
I got fucking booed out of the team lobby area. I was representing America, dude. Like, are you kidding me? I'm a pretty good player. I'm a pretty good fucking player too. Like, it was one of those things where it was like, that can't happen. He was running me off the fucking table. I mean, it was bad news. He put some spin on it that I could not. It was just every time he hit it, I had zero confidence that it was going to hit the side of the table. Anyways, I got much better quickly, like I do with most things, by the way. And I believe we will run into Bjorn Werner, hopefully, over there if we go to Germany this year. How fast do you think? Yeah, we might be going for the game over there. Might be. I think I just leaked that right here. We're talking about game in general, but it feels like we have to go to Germany.
Yeah.
Feels like we have to. Just with the analytics that we have of people that watch in Germany and the game being over there and the NFL taking over the entire city. And I was talking about this when I went and played in England. It was a festival it was a Super Bowl over there. It was awesome. I assume it's only a matter of time before the NFL gets over there full time, or do you think that conversation has been held up because the Concorde is no longer a 3-hour flight from New York to London?
That was great Concorde details. I did not know that.
Jim Irsay said that to us the other day whenever you were on the golf course. Jim Irsay said, at one point, Concorde was getting from New York to London in 3 hours, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. Like, what the hell? So I feel like that was potentially an actual conversation amongst owners. Like, hey, if it's only a 3-hour trip, that's easier than L.A. to Boston. Yeah. I mean, that's like 4.5 hours. So maybe they were thinking that was going to expedite the whole thing. But do you think they're going to go to Europe or no? What do you think the growth plan is?
I think this is just my thoughts eventually. And I know, Robert Kraft said at some point, I think 3 or 4 years ago, we'll be there in 10 years. It's not going to happen. There's enough.
He's a liar.
No, liar. He's ahead of his time.
He's a liar.
Yeah, he's ahead of right. He had the story. It was just a little early.
Boom.
But then he gave a projection.
He's right. He's going to be right. I do think eventually. It's really complicated in so many weird ways that don't actually have to do with like the field on Sunday. So, as you know, players come in and work out on Tuesdays. How many players are going to want to fly over to England for a Tuesday workout where there's a 10% chance of being signed? Okay, well then do you have a satellite office in America? Maybe. You could do it. The schedule would have to be sort of catered so everyone isn't flying 11 hours. It's very complicated. You also have to find a team willing to do it. And I know Jacksonville, everyone sort of thinks Jacksonville will go to London, and maybe they will. But they are invested in Jacksonville right now. So I think eventually you'll get one. It would take more money to make it happen just based on the logistics of it. But I think there are enough fans that I think eventually it will happen.
If one goes to Europe before Canada's going to be mad, but they won't be allowed into our country because there will still be a bunch of protocols and stuff. Go ahead, AJ.
Ian, is there a point in the spring or summer or even in the fall that we can look to, like, when is some stuff going to happen with Baker, Jimmy G? I mean, does Debo get situated in the next month or two? Where are we with all that?
Yeah, it's a daily show.
Usually, yeah. Hopefully, there's a sprinkle here and there so you guys have enough to talk about.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ian. They cut a promo on a guy on draft day again. You know what I mean? Sorry about that. Had to talk about it.
The problem when you get to this point in the NFL calendar is there's no deadlines. So, like, a couple veterans will sign here and there. Like, Grady Jarrett signed a nice contract extension yesterday.
How about
Brady?
God, Brady. Tyrann Mathieu signed with the Saints, which is cool. I think that actually there's no deadline. So teams will settle in now to OTAs. They'll want to see. They'll have rookie minicamp. They'll want to see their rookies. So everything's going to slow down a little bit. So I don't get the sense there'll be anything Baker until maybe June at the earliest. Jimmy G is still not able to throw, so he's not going to be able to throw till June. So if he's going to be moved anywhere, maybe at the start of training camp or maybe into training camp. So you're getting to like a real kind of dead period now, which is not great for you guys, but is good for my golf game. And so there's no real deadline to make anything happen.
What are you hearing out of Arizona with Eric Burkhart, Kyler Murray, and the Arizona Cardinals? Because allegedly they are now moving on to focusing on extending Kyler. Was this something that they had agreed to once that letter went public from Burkhart? And now are they actually doing that? And how pumped is Kyler to not only have Hollywood Brown back, one of his best friends, but probably a couple $100 million in guaranteed around the corner? Is that accurate?
We'll see on how much is actually guaranteed, because that is going to be one of the fights, right? Like, because Deshaun Watson, based on several different metrics, is the highest paid in the NFL. Certainly based on fully guaranteed money, he is. You can look at it a lot of different ways, but $46 million per year, not in new money, but just over the course of his contract, that's massive. That, I'm sure, is what Kyler's going to want. The fully guaranteed battle will wage on. We'll see if he ends up getting that, but it's going to be a lot. My sense is we're probably looking at either late June or early training camp.
Jesus.
Because I know.
That's forever.
Imagine if you're the one waiting for $100 million, which you've been there. I mean, I'm not going to say you've been there, but
Kind of been there.
You kind of been there.
You got to dot all the I's and cross all the T's whenever something like that's happened. But you can't look too desperate either. You know what I mean? You can't look too desperate, even though, golly, that train looks nice coming in. Jeez.
I can only imagine.
Can't lose leverage, though. Can't lose leverage. Can't do it. Can't do it, Ian.
The Hollywood Brown thing is good. It made a lot more sense yet. And I understand why the Cardinals traded for Hollywood Brown, because by where they were in the draft, their words or their view, they would not have gotten as talented receiver as Hollywood Brown. So that's why the trade makes sense.
That was the story. That was the story, you mean? That was the story.
That was the story. And I believe some of that is definitely true.
No.
But losing DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games made it necessary. And so that's why these things.
That's the story.
I mean, you look at you look at the timing. It became public, Monday, because DeAndre Hopkins dropped his appeal. He didn't lose his appeal. He dropped his appeal. He dropped his appeal right after the draft while they maintained maximum leverage to get a receiver in there. Like, nothing is by accident.
How many people around the NFL know that? Do the Ravens know that he's potentially staring down suspension, Hopkins?
I don't believe the Ravens. When someone gets suspended, the union knows, the player knows, the team knows, the agent knows, the doctors know.
Because that was a good deal. Hey, that was a good deal without the news of DeAndre Hopkins and them absolutely needing a wide receiver, which the Ravens would have taken advantage of completely in that deal if they would have known that.
Oh yeah, they would have. And this is not it's not a present for Kyler, because it doesn't work like that. You do what's best for the team, but he's happy to get one of his good buddies in there, his college teammate. I think Lamar was hurting a little bit because those two were very close, and I certainly understand that. But Hollywood Brown is now going to be catching passes from his college quarterback, and the system fit is really good. I think that will be a very, very good trade for the Cardinals.
Ty.
Rap sheet, with some of these veteran wide receivers who are still out there, is it kind of the same deal that you were mentioning with Baker? Are we just going to be kind of waiting around to see where these guys end up in picking and choosing, or do you think there's going to be some movement on that a little bit sooner?
I think we could get a little movement sooner. So there's Julio is available. Was that a light? Was that a light? There's very few things that make that sound. Anyway, yes. Julio is still available. And talk about OTAs. I'm not sure Julio really needs to go to OTAs. He's 32 years old or whatever. He's been there, done that. So he might be someone who might sign before minicamp. Odell is still out there.
Yeah.
Jarvis is still out there. I think Jarvis will probably sign sooner rather than later. But Odell, I think you'd like a little more time to make sure he's healing properly. Sounds like that's going really, really well, though.
Oh, yeah?
But, I mean, all those guys still on the board. That's rare this time of year.
Really, really surprising to hear that one of the greatest athletes of all time's rehab is going pretty good.
I know. This is why, I hate to report this. I know you're just joking, but, this is why I hate to report this stuff, because God forbid you say someone's, ahead of schedule, and everyone's like, yeah, okay. Sure he is.
You see Odell's closet? Okay, you see that closet in that house in Ohio? That dude's rehab is going quickly.
Yeah.
All right, he is one of the greatest athletes to walk this earth. Would be on our national team, winning the World Cup in Qatar if he wanted to. Could probably play in the NBA if he would have focused on it full time. I mean, just freak show athlete rehab is going to go well.
Sounds like soccer. He was incredible.
Well, he's very fast. I mean, that helps. And
He's pretty fast.
Yeah, he's very fast. That helps a lot. Ian, fuck. Right before we go. Oh, yeah. You ever watch Star Wars? You definitely are. You're one of those nerds, aren't you? You're definitely
No.
Not that it's a nerd's a bad thing. I'm just saying nerd isn't all in on something. You know what I mean?
I knew what you meant, and I'm
nerd
definitely
out.
not one of them. I've seen the Star Wars vaguely. I never got into the whole fantasy movie stuff, so I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
But you knew the sound.
I knew the sound. I'm good like that. It's I listen to a song, I can recognize the beat, where the original was, what it got sampled from, all that stuff.
Oh, who's getting sued? Who's inevitably getting sued? If they
Who's
have
getting sued? Who's stealing money from it? Early days of rap, there was a lot of just thieving beats.
Well, nowadays there's a lot too. Daft Punk used to get just pickpocketed every single beat that they created, actually, and then they teamed up with Kanye and made a.
If I was going to steal from someone, that would be the people to steal from.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
that I encourage any of that.
Hey, you a music junkie? I didn't know. Are you into?
I still listen to the same old school rap music that I listened to when I was 18 to 25.
I think everybody does that. Because it's it's the memories.
Crisscross? What is that?
Jump,
I do.
Jump!
The back down, jump! Crisscross for my sons, and they'll be like, "This is weird."
Dad, this is almost as bad as Pez dispensers. Is that what they say to you?
No, we are still working through the buckets of Pez. By the way, we're
forever.
Yeah. It's literally forever.
Lifetime.
Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Rapshi, just on the same conversation as adding a team to the league, how does that work? Do they have one division with 5 teams, one conference with 17 teams, the other with 16, or they add 2 teams?
I mean, if they were going to add, it would have to do 2 or 4. I don't get the sense anything's on the horizon. Although I have to say, there was a cool article that the Buffalo News did on the Bills about whether or not they were moving and how they basically got all that money from the state, from the city, for better or worse.
$850 or $650?
It was $850.
Yeah,
it was substantial. But anyway, they were talking about potentially Birmingham. They were talking about some interesting different places that if the NFL, they love football in Birmingham.
They do, by the way. Dr. Andrews and them are down there. That city's filled. They get USL.
Yeah, they're all, I think the USL is also down there. Which
the what?
The USL?
Or did I mess up the league? No, that's the right one, right?
What is it?
It's USFL, right?
Yeah, you said USL first, though. You were going to get both answers there.
Yeah, I watch all the time. They would have to bring in.
You're a terrible person. We don't know if anybody's watching that. They should have made that a reality show immediately.
Yep.
Dana White said it yesterday. They couldn't get the fights on television, so they made the reality show The Ultimate Fighter, and it was the behind the scenes, and the fights were featured on it. The USFL should have done a reality show that they were obviously shooting when we found out the chicken salad and the pizza about the Pittsburgh team. That should be what's on the primetime slots, with some shots of the games and then outcome of it. Just Hard Knocks, basically.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, that's what happened to F1, isn't it? It's gone crazy because of that reality show.
Netflix bumped F1. And by the way, the setup in Miami this weekend.
Unbelievable.
Woo. Looks nice. Looks real nice.
I just played golf with a guy who was preparing himself mentally to go down there. He is very excited about it. I'm very jealous that I'm not going.
Oh, that would be your type of event too. Who's all down there? What are the booze?
Yeah. We're going to the Kentucky Derby this week, which is also my type of event.
Okay. AJ's not.
Are we going to be talking on Friday with me all dolled up and from the track or no?
You're going to be dolled up.
My wife has arranged for some very stylish outfits.
Yeah. Ooh. You wearing a hat, Ian?
No, I can't. No, I can't mess up the hair. But I do have sneakers with my seersucker, which I haven't done that a lot. We'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty excited.
That is a fashionable move. Wow. That's an aggressive, fashionable move. Do you look at the Met Gala and say, "Give me that wife"? Yeah, I would like that beautiful wife.
No.
Why couldn't
I
you
would
dress
like
like
to
Jared
go to-
Leto? Who's that other guy that looked like Jared Leto?
I mean, Odell was dressed like
that guy.
That guy's gone unnamed. We still are not sure what human that was.
Did you see the peacock costume?
Let me see.
It looked like Jared Leto. I thought it was Jared Leto. It was not Jared
No,
Leto.
it is Jared. Wasn't Jared Leto was
Pop it
dressed
up.
like? I can't even. I don't
In
even
the
know.
silver? No, Jared Leto was dressed the exact same as one of his friends. But then there's this other guy that everyone says is Jared Leto, but it's not.
What's his name, Zito?
Peacock.
Frederick Robertson.
Frederick Robertson.
No,
dressed
that's
like-
fake. Yeah, no, definitely not.
Do
Definitely
you get
Leto.
invited to the Met Gala? And if you were, you would go immediately? Yes, that's a dream.
I would go. I wouldn't say it's a dream. Look, nothing more that I would love. What a great charitable event to contribute to all the rich people who then get to go to the same. Whatever. The whole thing is ridiculous, but you do get to play dress up for a little bit, and I think just for that, that would be kind of fun.
Did you go to Columbia?
I did.
That's like on the Columbia checklist, right? Get
Mhm.
invited to the Kennedy art in D.C. I think that's one of the big ones. Then the Met Gala, and then what are the other ones? Oscars, so you can see Will do his thing.
Some film festivals.
Now I've not done the film festivals. I feel like that would be quite the trip. Like 4 days, could be some booze, maybe some champagne.
What?
Over there.
Oh,
that's on the list too. Met Gala and some sort of
cons.
Yeah, gotta go to con.
All right, go ahead, Tone. Last question here, I believe. For
When's the next deadline for Debo? Are we not going to hear anything until training camp, or?
No, we're gonna. Next thing is like, does he show up for minicamp? Because obviously, like, and this is not. I don't think this is news at all. He's not that thrilled with the 49ers. They got some work to do.
Okay, that is kind of news.
Well, I mean, he requested a trade, so isn't that big of a fan. And there's some things that they need to fix. And I think they addressed it because one thing that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have said is like they can be, they're two pretty charismatic dudes. They can be pretty resilient. Like they have some homework and some work to do to get this back in a proper place. They have time to do it. I know they've tried, but does he show up for minicamp is going to be a thing, because then it's like, if he doesn't show up, he's getting fined. If he does show up, maybe he does the whole like, I show up, my back is hurting, or I have migraines, or I have hamstrings, and the hold in could do that, but then he's still there, so that's kind of weird. That's kind of the next thing is like, how do they proceed as a regular football player?
When's that? End of
knowing
June?
he's
That's end of June? That's why you said end of June, probably when we're going to find out more about a lot of these people?
That's, I think, I should have said mid-June. That's mid-June.
Okay. That's mandatory minicamp.
Mandatory. And that's when, like, that's sort of football. That's like as close to football as we get until training.
Oh, yeah. I actually was on a team once that had mandatory minicamp and actually just canceled one day of it because everybody showed up that wasn't mandatory. The only person that didn't show up to the stuff that wasn't mandatory, that was voluntary, showed up for mandatory and he was hurt. So, all right, can't play. Might as well just cancel the practice. We'll see you guys. See you guys at training camp. There's no reason to continue to do this. That happened.
Awesome.
OTAs are always something special, Never know what's going to come out of it. There's always heroes right now, too. This guy catching on quickly. This guy's catching on quickly, and stories have to happen. And then inevitably probably never play. But, Ian, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. Thanks for joining us. Good luck with your invitation next year for the Met Gala and Con.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I got a lot of work to do to raise my, whatever profile before then, but the show helps, so we'll see how I do.
I don't know if we're the...
No, I don't know. It's actually probably the opposite of help.
Yeah, we're probably hurting your little Columbia clout there whenever you come on this show. But we appreciate you for stopping by and spreading your big brain. Ladies and gentlemen, Ian Rappaport. I feel like that's why you go to those Ivy Leagues, right? So you go to all those things and be in all those stuff.
Network.
Well, that's where you go network, like, you're running hedge funds and stuff. Columbia guys, that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I've been watching Succession. I get it.
Oh, yeah. Did you dive in last night?
No, because Penn's in Young Rock.
That's right.
Young Rock.
Young Rock episode last night was real good.
Been great.
Oh, so good.
It has been
really.
Great. Well, Dwayne actually wrote this one himself.
No shit.
Last night's episode.
How do you know that?
Because I was told he was the writer on it.
I believe it.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was in it.
What?
Mankind.
What?
Vince McMahon.
What?
Bruce Pritchard.
What?
Freebird Hayes.
What?
I mean, there's a lot of people in there from the wrestling community, man. It was awesome. Sheiky baby. Iron Sheik was in there.
What?
The real Iron Sheik playing himself.
Triple H was in there last night.
Who played Triple H?
I didn't know who it was. I didn't know who it was. Huh. You can tell that he was playing Triple H just strictly by the hair and the way that Triple H used to walk.
He's kind of an asshole.
Sophisticated,
What are you talking about?
Just saying how I saw it.
Well, The Rock prefaced it with a quick voiceover. me and this guy are tight now, and he's one of the GOATs and one of the most important people. But at the time, it was not the case, and then it went right into them kind of being,
beefing a little.
Hey,
he hated his pop.
There's only a couple, top dogs.
That's right.
True.
There's only a couple spots.
The macaques.
There's only a couple of macaques
Yeah.
that can climb to the top of that temple of the macaques.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chris Mad Dog Russo goes from first take to following this. AJ, what do you think's in store for the next 3 hours of Go Radio?
I don't know. He should have Stephen A. come on with his radio show with him and argue there.
I assume they've already done that. JJ Redick, I guess, batted 1,000 this morning on first take against Chris Mad Dog Russo and Stephen A. Smith.
Go.
So maybe Chris Mad Dog Russo gets a chance to answer. That show's going to be awesome. And it comes after a 6-minute break that is about to hit your ear hole when they're trying to sell shit in about now. That's what they're trying to do.
Oh, yeah.
There's some good stuff trying to be sold.
Yeah?
I was going to say, you have a couple times said, hey, buy the shit that they're selling on there.
Yeah, because it's good for business for everybody. It supports everybody out there. The weekend coming up is a dandy. Quite a dandy. SmackDown on Friday. I think we're in Long Island. Not 100% sure. I think. Then my wife got the mini marathon Saturday morning.
There we go.
She's doing in Indianapolis.
You mean like a half marathon, or what do you mean?
Yeah, it's maybe it's a small marathon. I don't know what the technical title is. Half marathon, maybe. Yeah, it is 13.1. It's a long way. I couldn't do it.
No way.
So that's happening Saturday morning. I'm coming just to show some support, towards the end there. I'm
There you
going,
go.
hey,
You're
way
going
to
to
go.
run next to her the whole time outside the ropes?
No, I'll be sleeping for the first 10 miles of that thing, I think, and then
Sure.
I'll go down for the final 3. Like, hey, here we go. Here's some water and also maybe a wheelchair. This is a long way to be traveling, but I'm proud of her. It's something she always does, so I'm going to check that out. And Phil invites me to the Pittsburgh Penguins game Saturday night in Pittsburgh. It's like, playoff hockey, Pens game. Now we're going to win the series, too, because the Rangers, maybe I do that. And then Sunday's WrestleMania Backlash in Rhode Island, and then we got Overreaction Monday to everything.
Sure. Wow.
It's a big weekend. It's a lot. I'm already exhausted.
So that's a pay-per-view on Sunday?
It's a premium live event. Yes, thank you.
Jesus.
Thank you.
So it's WrestleMania Backlash, so you're running another program there as well?
No, I'm commentating. Talking about the stories that are going on, but I do believe SmackDown only we got a lot of, I don't know how many matches I'm gonna call. Those premium live events are my least favorite things about the
Why?
entire
Because
thing.
they're 7.5 hours, or what?
Yeah, and I call 2 matches. Like I normally take like a 3-hour break in the middle of that thing. It's like, all right, I gotta go sit in the back. Sometimes sit in the audience and watch. And then, all right, we're up. Here we go. And then let me strap this thing back on. Roman Reigns. It's not an easy thing for anybody. So I got massive respect for anybody who can just drop in, drop out. I've found it difficult. I have found it difficult, but it'll be a good one. WrestleMania Backlash. A lot of good things happening. Big things happening. Big things
Madcap.
Oh my God,
yeah.
No Cap, Madcap is about to beat the hell out of Happy Corbin.
Where the fuck is Butch at? Do we know yet?
Well,
Yeah, we found Ciampa.
Okay, Ciampa's found. He's on Raw.
Come on.
Jesus.
Congrats. I'm glad we found him. Now, what about the other guy?
Ciampa's
Elias?
never
He turned
missing.
up?
Follow the product.
Ciampa's never missing.
I feel like he was on the show.
No, Butch has gone
Then
missing.
where was Tomasino? Where's that guy?
That's not somebody. I don't even know who you're speaking of.
Tomasina?
Did I see?
Tommaso Ciampa was his name. He's now just Ciampa, please.
Did you beat him off too, the name? Is that why these guys keep changing their names after they come in contact with you?
Hey, listen, Ciampa and I have not encountered each other,
No.
okay, since our separation from NXT, okay, since we have moved on. And I didn't even work with him there either. Like, what are you even, I don't even think, there's no on-screen relationship between me and Ciampa, I don't believe, at all. Friend with him, though.
I believe he has been on the show. I believe he's a friend of the program.
Yep.
He is jacked.
Jacked. Rehabbed a broken fucking neck and then came back with like a 15-pack. I was like, oh my God. Anyways, Butch is fucking missing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Butch is gone. Oh, no.
Yes, there you go. Thank you. He actually just left the arena, ran through the people. We haven't seen him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ezekiel, he's here, but where's Elias?
Yeah.
Right.
Ezekiel was on the bump this morning.
He was?
I kind of like Zeke better than Elias.
No, I want Elias back.
No, Zeke's
I'm
awesome,
done with
dude.
Zeke.
Why?
Whoa.
Because I liked Elias so much.
No.
He's
Zeke's-
great at music. Zeke
Zeke's
doesn't
cooler,
play
dude.
music.
Foxy,
Zeke's too nice.
Ezekiel, the younger brother of Elias, hopefully has his head on a swivel because I'm not so sure Elias doesn't just show up and beat the hell out of him.
Well, that's what we're all worried about is we think there's a chance that Elias might not like Ezekiel. But we don't know. We haven't really heard from Elias since with learning of Ezekiel.
Ezekiel's very wholesome, and he seems to have a great relationship with Elias when you hear him speak about him.
That's right. He did speak of him kindly.
Don't try to start shit.
He's got to cut the back of his sport coat he was wearing on the bump the other day. Hey, Zeke, cut that. He's young.
He's young.
He's young. Wait, did he throw the first pitch or something?
No, he's on the bump this morning, which is a talk show that WWE has. He was on
I
it.
thought he threw the first pitch maybe at a Pirates game.
By the way, if he would, which they would never be smart enough to ask him because they are the Pirates, or well, maybe the Pirates operation, well, they get Zambelli fireworks. Have Zeke come throw the first pitch.
Yeah. Ezekiel, Elias' younger brother, has an absolute hose, I believe, too.
Well, absolutely. Have you seen that guy? The genetics in that family, they are stacked.
Not as good as Veers, but like pretty.
Come on, it's Ezekiel.
I know.
I do hope Ezekiel, Elias' younger brother, does get a big program coming up soon.
He will.
It sounds like he is.
Yeah.
Can you run that one more time?
Come on, it's Ezekiel.
I know. There's no lie in there. No. Did you hear any lying in his voice? Run that one more time.
Come on, it's Ezekiel.
I know. That's not a lie.
Not at all.
It sounds like,
It's Ezekiel.
That doesn't sound like Elias at all.
No.
I mean, I think his older brother Elias may come back and murder him.
That's
and take his spot.
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm worried about, too.
Zeke will have to go into hiding.
Yeah.
Ezekiel will have to go into hiding if that's the case.
Come on, now his poor parents cannot handle any more of this. So let's not do that.
Well, because Ezekiel is Elias' younger brother, there's the older brother strength, and you hope that Ezekiel, Elias' younger brother, is able to battle him.
Ezekiel did introduce himself as Ezekiel, Elias' younger brother, to 10 straight people.
It was awesome.
It was sweet.
That's great.
This is a joke. Our life is a joke. We got to get out of here. Okay, we announced all the winners today. Congratulations to everybody.
Right.
Can't wait to continue to do giveaways as this offseason, it sounds like it's going to continue to go terribly. Okay, we had all the fireworks early, Zambelli's early, quarterbacks being traded, wide receivers being traded, big time deals, everything like that. The draft happens. Now we're staring down a little pit of sadness, okay? And this pit of sadness, we're going to try to turn into pit of gladness every single day as we overreact to every little piece of news that inevitably isn't going to mean jack, diddly, shit. When the season starts. Ain't that right, Colin?
Well, except for the fact that Stephon Gilmore's wearing number 5 this year.
Hey, this means Super Bowl, right, AJ? Stephon Gilmore chooses number 5. This means Super Bowl.
Ayo!
Guaranteed super. He looks sweet in 5, so I am all about it. And he's smiling, too. I love this. You know what? Maybe Super Bowl.
This isn't anything like Jameson Williams in Detroit when he
Bingo.
was drafted in the first round. Look how happy number 5 is. The 5 looks perfect. That means Super Bowl. And in the back, you see those two people talking. Guess what they're doing? They're talking about how they can win a Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
It is the number 5 means everything's fine in Indy. And everybody should have, watched their tongues as they were making fun of the Colts as they were losing in Kleintown.
Yeah.
Okay, in week 18 last year and not making the playoffs. That's coming all the way back the fuck around, okay? Needed it, is what Frank Reich said.
Best defense in the league, possibly.
Well, it's not.
I really hope they play well this year.
Well, you got a quarterback serving up ice cold beers whenever he walks into a room. I think you're going to be just fine.
Goddamn
He
Navy
actually,
SEAL.
he actually rode his John Deere here.
Yeah.
That astronaut came in here,
right.
some stone cold beers
Why?
with a scratch golf game.
Why?
Sat in the pocket here in the Thunderdome.
What?
I love the guy.
Yeah.
I love him, man.
What if Carson Wentz leads the Commanders to a Super Bowl title?
He might. Whoa. Ty doesn't believe that because he drives a Bobcat.
Right.
I am saying he could strictly because when you run the highlights of Carson Wentz, we saw one this morning from Philly that I had not seen before. This is the first time seeing it. He's running. He is running along the line of scrimmage because he had already scrambled an entire thing, and he is about to get absolutely blasted, murdered. In the process of getting murdered, throws a fucking frozen rope 15, 20 yards down the field right to a tight end, like right in the bucket. That guy obviously gets killed. He gets murdered. Carson gets up, jogs right up to the line of scrimmage. They do it again. He does plays that no other quarterback would ever think about doing or potentially could do. His greats are fucking elite. But in that same potential outcome, where he's getting sacked, running sideways, and having to throw 20. He could have thrown it like right to a safety or a linebacker that was just standing right there. Pick 6, fucking game over. That could happen. And might not happen, obviously, next year with the Commanders, but There is a chance. And I would like, that's why everybody says I bury him all the time. His fucking great football is great.
Yeah.
It's exhilarating. It's just that, it's a coin flip almost. It feels like every single play, no yard left behind. It's like also maybe no loss left behind too with the way you're playing right now.
And I'm still not so sure Taylor Heineke isn't breathing down his neck so much that he maybe, gets in his head.
Sam Howell.
They got Howell,
Sam
too.
Howell.
And Sam Howell now.
You think Carson Wentz wore that mustard suit to a press conference and to not be the starter?
If we know anything about Carson, he loves competition in the QB room.
does.
Bingo.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
All right,
Good head on his shoulders.
let's get to a 21-hour break.
Come on, Goop.
All right. Carson was very nice to us. His highs were high.
Yeah, he's a great
I'm
guy.
excited I don't have to ride the Wentz roller coaster.
Can you, hey, before we sign off here, can you lumber around the stage real quick, like Carson?
I ain't doing it.
Like if he was fighting with a lightsaber
This
or
is
something.
post.
So you LARPing?
Him and Ben. That's my favorite when you lumber around like
Well, they're
Ben.
the
and
same
Carson.
people. Carson, whenever he's got 2 sprained ankles after one play, bopping around. Saw it in half. And then on the next play, he'll break this fucking thing in half.
Uh-huh.
Somehow. I think that's just how it goes.
What about Ben when he runs out of the tunnel for the last time?
He does have like a quite a little shuffle out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's because you got to remember, like their joints are so beat up at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So beat up. It's just like, how do I lumber through this thing? But whenever the push comes to shove, they can, the adrenaline drives them. But they're just trying to make it from A to B. And if he wouldn't have played 99% of the snaps, even though he broke every bone in his body, we would have had number 1 overall pick this year. Probably got a wide receiver up there.
Yeah.
But it's all good. Don't worry about it. Carson's stuff. This is awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's get out of here. Hammer down 15 minutes. 25 minutes.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Fucking huge baseball playoff action, 2 sports.
Yeah, fucking Bruins winning tonight. Pasta
You
scoring
want to
hat
win?
trick.
Put
That's what
Swayman
we're-
in.
Boom.
Let's go, Bees.
And we got Swayman in the net today, and he's not letting in one fucking goal and Pasta scoring 3. Book it.
Nick's saying you guys aren't starting Swayman.
What?
Swayman's
Yeah,
not in.
we are. Swayman's starting.
They're running it back with Allmark.
My sources are telling me Swayman's starting tonight. He just got fucking texted.
I hope your sources are better than mine because I don't see it.
Well, fucking Rupper must have forgot to text you this morning because Rupper told me, hey, Swayman's in net tonight and Pasta scoring a hat trick.
Well, the Bruins, how many wins you guys have in the playoffs?
In the last, 10 years or just this year?
This year.
This year, we have 1 win after tonight.
Okay, so you have no wins.
At the moment, but
Swayman not starting confirmed.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's a lie. They're just fucking saying that to throw the fucking Hurricanes off their game. Swayman's playing tonight.
Hey, listen, 0 playoff. You have the same amount of playoff wins this year as the Detroit Red Wings.
Well,
You hear me?
Yeah,
And more losses.
And we have more losses than the Detroit Red Wings right now in the playoffs, and the same amount of wins as them, just like the Las Vegas Golden Knights and every other cracking shitty team.
Yeah, but we've been to 100% more playoffs in the last 5 years than the Detroit Red Wings have, so I don't really care.
We've won the same amount of playoff series as the Pittsburgh Penguins
in the last 4 years.
Whoa!
Yeah, they won 2 cups.
Let's get to a break. Let's get to a break. Let's get out of here. We don't need to talk.
Pasta hat trick tonight. Take it. The odds are not high enough.
It's going to have to be a high scoring affair because you guys ain't playing Swayman, bro.
Well, fucking Pasta scoring 8 goals then. Fuck it.
So it's about the over, I guess, huh?
Yeah, 8-5 Bruins.
You guys need Louis Domingue? Fucking too bad, pal.
No, Joey Lasagna couldn't make it up with the Bruins, okay?
Are you kidding me?
17 stops fresh out of fucking broccoli and cheese.
Yeah, we'll see if he still has that same broccoli and cheese, going into the next game.
Louis Domingue's a fucking chef. I seen a video from 2021.
Yeah,
Not a
maybe.
superstar.
I bought his fucking cookbook last night.
Why don't you go find his Twitter?
cookbook?
July 10th, 2021. Fucking Louis Domingue in the kitchen cooking.
Is that right?
Yes.
Well, Louis better start, focusing his game in that. I hope he's not cooking today. I hope
Hey,
he's getting some rest.
Louis, if I were you right now with how much you are beloved in Pittsburgh, I would be selling whatever you have at like 15, 20%, 17% off with your 17 saves. You will get all the money from the Pittsburgh people right now. Now, what happens in the next game?
That's up to you.
If you want to keep that sales going, do it. This dude's a hero right now, AJ. Louis fucking Domingue, dude.
I mean, he gets more play on this show than probably he has in his whole career.
We were just ahead of the game. Now everybody's talking about him.
That's right. Bingo.
Really?
Till
Yeah.
Swayman tonight. Everyone's going to be talking about the Swayman.
He's not playing.
Not playing.
He's gonna be playing. I'm telling you.
You think he'll come in third overtime?
I think he's gonna come in 10 minutes into the first period because Ullman's gonna be like, "Look, Swayman's got this look in his eye, and we need to get him in the goddamn game."
Doofus.
Omar, sure.
You don't even know you. Oh,
geez.
That's because I'm a
Swayman guy.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it.
Big Dick Domingue was the first goalie to ever come in the second OT or later in NHL history.
That's what he does.
Boom.
Wow.
That's what Domingue does.
Yeah.
He's always there. It's always there.
It is.
Louis Domingue. It's always there.
Uh-huh.
It's always there.
You said that he looked at the coach and said, I'm Louis Domingue. I'm Casey DeSmith's backup. Put me in the goddamn game.
You want to win?
said?
Yeah. And then when he started to skate on, everyone was like, what are we doing? And Louis stopped, turned around, said to the entire bench, guys, I'm Louis Domingue. I'm Casey DeSmith's backup. Let me fucking play.
Does Louis Domingue have a lot of Ezekiel in him, it sounds like?
I think he has a lot of Ezekiel.
Which is good.
Because for a while
Ezekiel
there,
also a Pittsburgh legend.
Yeah, that's right.
Forget.
he was saying growing up, guys, I'm Louis Domingue. I'm Joey Domingue's brother, the goalie.
All right, Louis Domingue is going to get a lot of play, I think, until he loses.
Right.
And listen, he's not going to lose, though. Louis Domingue's not going to lose. As soon as he loses, though, the whole conversation is going to be, this team wasn't built to win. I got a 30-year journeyman who's more worried about cookbooks and net. I mean, that's how sports media goes. But right now, Louis Domingue's flying high. If I was him, 17% off right now.
Start pushing it.
I'd sell every cookbook I possibly had. Maybe $17 more, actually.
Oh.
Hey, if you guys want to help me out, donate to charity and buy my book.
Smart.
Wait, does he really have a cookbook?
Yes.
He's Louis Domingue.
Come on. He's chef of the puck.
Hell yeah.
He is.
Fucking cooking, guys.
Controls it like no other.
Bro, Casey DeSmith was standing on his head early, too.
Oh, he was.
First playoff game, this dude was flying around. He was literally center on everything almost. He was seeing the puck like perfectly, not going anywhere. I honestly was so pumped. I'm like, we got a guy. We got a fucking guy. Yeah. We can go here. The goalie, and I said this earlier and I mean it, if you have a hot goalie, you can win the Stanley Cup. Like that is just
it's like a quarterback, right?
Boom. Quarterback, pitcher, whatever the fuck. If you get a hot goalie, you can go on and win. Like win. It doesn't matter what the team is like. So whenever you lose a goalie right before the playoffs, it's a little bit disheartening. It's like, oh, we're fucked. Then last night he was just like, seeing, I'm like, oh, we got a guy. And then he subs himself out. What the fuck happened, dude? What are we doing here? And then Domingue comes in, 17 straight saves. Everybody else has been playing for 6 hours. He sees the puck like it's nothing.
The craziest thing about Domingue was that he was playing left wing for the entire game before he had to go in.
Fucking Louis Domingue. We appreciate it. You got a couple assists, unlike that fucking bread man from our Super Boost didn't hit. All right, we're out of here. 18 minutes till hammer down. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We appreciate you all so much. May the 4th be with all of you. Be nice to somebody today. Cheers.